Alrighty, hello everyone. I hope you are doing well tonight, and I hope you can hear and see me. Please let me know that that's working. I'll sit and wait, check out the chat. I think there's, we live. Okay, perfect. You can see and or hear me. So tonight we've got some exciting stuff lined up. This is going to be about my normal live time. What is it? Around 6 p.m. on Thursdays. I'm thinking every week we'll hang out. And I want to start these streams every week by addressing a few stories you guys send me in the Discord, whether you be in my Subscribe Star Discord or what previously was the Twitch Gang Discord. I've got sections there where you can send me stories. So we're going to go through a few stories today, chat about them, chat a bit about my upcoming documentary, and then we'll be bringing Mr.Girl in to have a back and forth debate. Debate, discourse, we'll see where it goes. If things get ultra spicy, maybe we'll bring in a moderator. Give me a moment. He wanted to ask me about immigration. I kind of want to bring up his Trancel culture video that he just made because it's very interesting. Despite being a man that many people accuse of, many people on the internet accuse him of being a part of the groomer squad and whatnot. He very much so agreed with a lot of conservative analysis of the Don't Say Gay bill or anti-grooming bill, and has a lot of issues with seemingly not trusting liberals to educate children properly on gender issues. And he compared it to how a lot of liberals don't trust conservatives to teach their kids about religion and how that should kind of be mutually understood. So I think that'll be an interesting topic to bring up. But let's jump right into the news. I'll quickly look at the comments. We got a few here. Lauren, so you're still right wing or not? Yeah, I'm generally conservative. Yeah, that's typically my view. A lot of people like to make up my views and my perspectives. But speaking of, you asked about immigration. That is going to be the next topic of my upcoming documentary. And I kind of wish we weren't done editing because this is a super interesting story someone sent me in the Discord. Biden will drop Title 42 border restrictions on May 23rd. U.S. faces a mass migrant event where crossings could triple when COVID restrictions are lifted. One part of me kind of thinks, like, when I was down there in Mexico recording for my upcoming documentary, American Mirage, I don't think anyone cared about COVID. It's not, I mean, I found some people's little, like, vaccine passports on the ground and piles of clothes and water bottles and stuff on the riverbanks, but no one in Mexico is thinking about or cares about COVID. Certainly not if you're illegally migrating. Like, half of these caravans we were with had dengue fever up the ass, right? They were just, every disease you could freaking imagine was amongst these groups. There were COVID, like, I don't think COVID is really stopping anyone from coming illegally to America, and nor do I think COVID restrictions are stopping anyone from illegally coming to America, because the restriction on not illegally migrating, which is probably a more substantial, bigger law to break, no one really thinks about that one, do they? Where is Nuance Bro? Holy, does my title say Nuance Bro? Listen, my title says nothing about Nuance Bro. You relax. I'll be talking to him in about 2 weeks at Myth Informed. All right, so let's just read this anyways. Title 42 will... How's my audio first, actually? I never checked in on you. Oh, did I say Nuance Bro? I think I said was supposed to say Mr. Girl. Audio, can you let me know if the levels are okay before I jump into this article? Audio is fine. Okay. I'm going to trust Yeet. Yeet has been the real G here. Every time I have a question, first to answer. Gold star to Yeet. All right. Title 42 will no longer be used to expel migrants starting on May 23rd. Okay. So they were using Title 42 to expel them. So that's the only reason that this would have an impact. Policy allowed for instant expulsion of asylum seekers during the pandemic. It was enacted March 2020 by then President Donald Trump at the onset of the pandemic as the spread of coronavirus ran rampant at crowded border facilities. Okay, The reason I probably haven't heard much about this is because when I was on the border and doing my recording, there was no one getting instantly expelled. We were just doing like on the ground observation, and people were having their suitcases put into the back of trucks, right? Like, come on in. Let's head over to the facility. Get you sorted with your phone, as Jen Psaki said today. They're giving them phones. I want to know what kind of phones these migrants are getting. Are they getting iPhones? Are they getting Nokias, right? Like, how expensive are these phones that the government's giving them? Immigration groups have pushed for an end to Title 42 as COVID-related restrictions loosen in the U.S. That's interesting. This is probably the only time I've seen progressive-leaning groups pushing for an end to COVID restrictions. Or heard of it anyways, but Republicans and border official warns it could cause crossings to triple. Even the White House admitted on Wednesday there would be an influx of migrants crossing Mexico. Okay, on a purely selfish note, this is going to be great for the release of my film. Not good for America, but really great for Lauren's film release. Should we look at... I'm at like a random spot in my film here. Should we take a look at it? Let's see, where am I? I'm just 32 minutes in. Okay, wait, I don't think you can hear my audio. Who's that? Is that me? That's me? No. Ba-ba-ba. Let's see. Real tech. Nope, doesn't look like that's working. So I'm trying to get the audio so you can hear what I'm watching and listening to. Not you. Maybe if I put in my headphones. Did you see Kamala Harris when you were at the border? Says W7X. I did not. Your cozy relationship with Mr.Girl is sus, says Astaroth. Who's to say it's cozy? Pretty sure we ended our last discussion debating or arguing, but he did. His last video was good. Like, I don't care if he's got a million videos I disagree with. If he did a good video, I'll admit it's a damn good video. All right, what is going on here? Oh, maybe because I'm not playing anything on the computer. Silly me. Silly me. Okay, give me a minute. I'm going to play this. Oh, there we go.
Despite the Biden administration adopting some of Trump's hardline rhetoric once in power, the number of illegal migrants making their way towards the United States continues to climb to record-breaking numbers. Unlike the migration we witnessed in Europe, which consisted predominantly of fighting-aged males, the caravans making their way through Mexico are brimming with families and children. It didn't take us long to realize why.
Children presenting at our border who are fleeing violence, who are fleeing prosecution, who are fleeing terrible situations is not a crisis.
The idea that I'm going to say, which I would never do, that if an unaccompanied child ends up at the border, we're just going to let them starve to death and stay on the other side. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Okay, so we've got 8 chapters in this documentary, and all of them are thematic of Dante's Inferno.
Welcome to Cartel Land. Do they want works? There's more of us than you. We will win.
Oh, I'm so excited for this doc to drop, guys. It's so good.
The road has been blocked here by a caravan. We were just driving. We didn't expect to run into one, but there's smaller caravans all along the highway. You see them maybe every 15 minutes, and this is just a large one, and we're not sure why they're blocking the highway right now. I guess we'll ask some of them. Why do you block the highway?
I do that because we have 6 days waiting for the immigration. He said today, he said he coming. Tomorrow.
I don't want to show you too much. I don't want to be too many spoilers. So we'll just skip to random chapters and show you little clips.
This is what the wall looks like from Mexico with the Rio Grande between us. Here's the thing though. There is very little evidence of crossing points.
Look at this midriff, Lauren.
Stretch,
horrible. Horrible outfit choice.
Covers every point. But the issue is the wall is inconsistent. There are parts
it's too quiet? Okay, let me turn it up.
Lower, where there's breaks, and the cartel are taking maximum advantage of those weak spots.
Good. We're headed towards a good way. I'm thinking they'll probably cross more over here.
We had no intel on where to go in Reynosa, but flying our drone to find gaps in the American border wall proved useful. The forests across the Rio Grande from a Texan country club were a no-man's land strung with backroad pathways, crawling with cartel members, the National Guard, and illegal migrants alike, all playing a giant game of cat and mouse that we found ourselves in the middle of. Oh shit. There's some boats hiding in the woods. Okay, I'm gonna take our drone back. Okay, I'm gonna sit here and watch the whole damn documentary with you if I don't stop, but I'm really excited for its release, guys. Like, I'm stoked. We'll just chill for a minute. Too many spoilers coming up. Interesting comment from Be Not Silent. I have disliked Lauren for a long while now, meme wars and all that, but compared to others, she's still a slight bit better than the competition as far as protecting white people goes. I gave up on the grudge. Well, I mean, I suppose thank you for not hating me because of internet rumors and drama. I'll take the $10. I appreciate it. Sausage Lord says, Indiana Jones / a Tomb Raider Queen, Lauren. I always wanted to grow up to be Indiana Jones. That was always a dream of mine. So I got to do the media version at the very least. Freddie, I'm not reading your super chat. Sorry, mate. Release date, please. Within the next 2 weeks. Okay. I'm doing some sound mastering right now with an absolute legend. His name's Omid. He's helped with a few things in my previous documentaries as well. So just going to do some sound mastering and then we'll get a specific date for you. Okay. I'm supposed to be chatting with Mr. Girl in like 3 minutes here. So I'm going to quickly speed run through the rest of these stories that people sent me. All right. So someone sent me Disclose TV. Now DirecTV has terminated the One America News channel from its lineup. I think the first comment below here kind of sums up my take on this. The real question is who the hell is still using DirecTV? Sorry. I don't have much else to say about this one. I feel like my sound is peaking. You guys said it was fine, but... All right. China preparing for war with U.S. Asia by partnering with Russia, expert warns. If you've ever spent much time in Australia, like I have, you will know the discourse around war with China is constant. Like, the military in Australia are constantly preparing for it. What they consider it at the moment is gray zone warfare, like everything up to the point of actual confrontational war. So, you know, trade stuff, getting involved politically, propaganda. China's basically done a lot of direct stuff in the South China Sea that we don't talk about much in America. You know, taking back islands there, pressure tactics. They basically own half the damn real estate in Canada. Although I think we're just putting restrictions on foreign buyers buying in Canada for homes. There's a place called Richmond in my home city of Vancouver where I'm pretty sure 60% of the condos and apartments are foreign owned. Like, it's nuts how much foreign ownership in China is Canadian property. So that is like gray zone warfare, because by the time you go to actual warfare, much like Russia and Eastern Europe, if they can just shut off the gas, you're going to have a whole lot of trouble, just like a lot of the money in our reliance is on China. And when they can shut that off, we're in trouble. Especially in Australia, though. And Australia talk about it more because they're way more worried about a direct conflict than the West are. People don't realize this, but Australia was actually bombed during the Second World War. Darwin was getting bombed. They had, submarines in Sydney Harbor. It was covered up a bit by the government, but they had direct land warfare. Whereas America and Canada, we aren't so worried about that. We're like, we'll go fight our wars on someone else's turf. Whereas Australia are like, damn, war with Asia, we're going to be the ground for that. We better build up our troops. So they've been prepping over in Australia for a while, and I think the predictions that I've heard from a lot of my military friends has been within the next 50 years, it'll turn from gray zone warfare to direct warfare, or whatever that turns into in the future. But I don't see any reasoning China would have to rush that, because they're winning when it comes to, gray zone. All they have to do is wait. It's like a waiting game.
because we're slowly destroying ourselves. Okay, wait, 1 minute. I'm going to quickly check my Discord. Make sure, ask for 5 more minutes before we call. Okay, 5 more mins, then let's ring. Just, cool. I should not drink bubbly drinks while doing live streams. I just had a little burp. Embarrassing, humiliating. Brian Collins says, I'm going to need you to go ahead and strap 2 thigh holstered Desert Eagles and go by the name of Laura Croft Southern. Not, you know what? I wouldn't mind that. That'll be the next documentary outfit. We actually had armed security for my Mexico trip. What's your favorite Team Fortress 2 class, says Duke. All right, listen. It's obviously Scout. No question about it. All right. Love this story. SoCal City to give transgender and non-binary residents up to $900 per month in universal basic income. I don't even know what the take is going to be here. Like, I don't know. Just full clown world. The wonderful thing about this, though, is I truly believe this is the only way that part of this, like, transgender stuff is that white men lost a lot of ability to get promoted in jobs. They lost a lot of ability to just, wedge their way into certain positions on boards and in politics. So this transgender opportunity is like one of the best opportunities white men have had in a long time, because anyone can identify as it. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to get surgery. Now, not only can you dominate all of women's sports, you can just straight up, get appointed to boards, get jobs. They can never fire you, and get $900 per month if you're in SoCal. Pretty lit. Pretty lit. I can't judge people for going full in on this. Hollywood isn't history, says when whites become a minority, minority rights become a thing of the past. Oh, you mean when white people are a minority in a country, their rights suddenly go away? I'm like half understanding this, but also not. I guess when there's like mass immigration, there does tend to be a lot of people that, a lot of the social justice stuff absolutely disappears. That's true. Destiny moved out of SoCal too early. All right, let's read this piece real fast. Someone in the chat says it's only Palm Springs and it hasn't passed. Okay. So we got to be careful with these headlines here, my friends. We got to be a bit careful. California, transgender and non-binary residents in Palm Springs will receive, it says will when it hasn't passed. So we don't like that style of writing, if this is true, according to my comment section. Will receive up to $900 a month of universal basic income with no strings attached for the sole purpose of identifying as transgender or non-binary. How is this even legal? Palm Springs will allocate $200,000 towards the pilot program. According to Fox News, 20 trans and non-binary residents will receive money for 18 months. Fox News reported a California city is planning to give universal basic income to transgender non-binary students. Eligible to receive $900, no strings attached. Former San Diego City Councilman, a Republican who served as the first openly gay member of the city council, called the program outrageous and discriminatory. True. Okay, but someone in the chat is saying that it hasn't passed yet. So can you show me, like, send me an article or something? Where would I look? Okay, let me... $900 a month, UBI, transgender, SoCal. No, my friend who said it hadn't passed yet, you are wrong. Apparently it's a pilot program that's been approved. So they've started the program, but I guess they're going to have a full-on program coming after this test run. Yeah, so City of Palm Springs, California, recently, so they did grant $200,000 to 2 nonprofit groups looking to design a pilot program to offer universal basic income to transgender non-binary. Just identify as non-binary. Like, if you're one of my followers and you're watching this and you live in Palm Springs, it costs you nothing to identify as non-binary. And why should that money go to someone else? Why shouldn't that money go to you? It's like that scene from Lord of the Rings where Bilbo's holding the ring and he's like, why shouldn't I keep it? It's your tax dollars. Why shouldn't you keep it? Costs you nothing. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to get surgery. At worst, maybe you'll have to, like, you know, if you're a guy, paint your nails or something. If you're a girl, I don't know, put your hair up in a bun. It costs you nothing, all right? Join this pilot program. I encourage everyone who follows me to go get their 900 buckaroos back from the government, okay? And they can't prove it. What are you going to say? You're faking non-binariness? Like, prove it. Prove it. Prove it. I mean, the only way you're going to get caught is if you, like, explicitly say, I am faking non-binariness. Thank you, Mitch and Sapanta. Med, doc, medic. All right. Only, like, 3 people in this chat are going to get that reference, all right? I like that you practice what you preach, Lauren. I try to. I sometimes fail. I think everyone fails. I mean, ideologies in politics, conservatism, progressivism, it's all like an ideal, something you're pursuing. That doesn't mean you can't realize some of it, but you know, I'm far from perfect. Please trust me on that one. Never trust me to be your perfect conservative queen that will never make any errors, please. Okay. One more story we're going to go over before we call Mr. Girl. This one's near and dear to my heart. Jon Stewart, his anti-white farmer rant. Too much for even Cory Booker.
Ways. And so he came in, I said, hey, look, we got a crisis. Very few black farmers are existing. Do something about it. He did something about it. It was my legislation.
And my point is, what happened to that legislation?
It got stopped.
That's my point.
Because we have a Supreme Court and that we knew
it got stopped because
of legal
white
challenges.
Resentment. White farmers felt like resources were being taken away from them and given to people
because
who
some people, not again. When you say white farmers, if I'm a white farmer, listen to this in Iowa, I'm thinking to myself, Jon Stewart's calling me. Jon Stewart is blaming me for stopping Booker's legislation. That's not true. But some people stopped that legislation.
Right.
And my job, who wants to help black farmers who've been built off of their land, is to go back to work with the Biden administration, write new legislation that could withstand a legal challenge.
Okay, I don't see how this is any different in level of, you know, conspiratorial nonsense for him to say it was white farmers that stopped this bill with no evidence, just white hatred, white, you know, this, that, and the other. Then if he were to go and say, you know, it was the Jews that did this, it was the Jews. Like this building up of resentment against a class because they've got power and money, which, you know what? I mean, white farmers, I don't even think have that much power and money. Like they just, I can't think of a political class than white, like maybe white people, you know, generally, although Asians tend to be top it off when it comes to income, but white people, sure, they've got a lot of money in America compared to other groups, but farmers, when it comes to political power, how many farmers do you see represented in the Senate? How many farmers do you see represented, you know, even just in local politics, maybe here and there, and they're usually going to be like a folk legend, like, holy, thank you for running. That's amazing. We love your background. But they typically are not the ones that are going to be doing the media stuff, passing bills, working on legislation. That's just so absurd. This is, you know, pure conspiratorial nonsense from Jon Stewart here. Lauren, go on the Sitch and Adam show, you lemon. Yes, I need to respond to them. They did message me. This is my bad. Also, like, what do these people have against food? Like, there's so much hatred towards farmers, whether you be in South Africa or America, Canada. It's like it's those damn rural farmers that did all of it. They just want to be left alone. They just want to make our food, make sure we can live day to day. Like, what do these people have against food? I don't know. They all just want to be Zimbabwe, I guess. But oh, there was something else I wanted to mention about this. Nope, I lost it. It's gone. Oh, right. I mentioned that I retweeted this. We'll go find Lauren's tweets. I actually do think that there is some land that we should redistribute to black farmers. No problem with this. We need to redistribute some white land to black farmers, and I will show you exactly. All right. Here is all of the farmland in America owned by Bill Gates. We got 16,000 acres in Washington that we can give to black farmers. We got 25,000 acres in Arizona. Nice little 70,000 in Louisiana. Totally. Let's absolutely redistribute this to black farmers. Zero problem with that, right? We'll see how quick that legislation gets shot down immediately when 7,000 different interest groups suddenly start calling representatives, right? All right. I thought you were leaving Xerox? What's Xerox? I don't know what Xerox is. Oh no, am I gonna... Sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about, my friend. Something in World of Warcraft. Okay, we're gonna call Mr. Girl, and then any super chats that I get from this point on, I will read after at the end of our conversation, or unless they're super relevant to the conversation, then I'll leave it for the end. All right. Also, if you're being naughty in the chat, I'm not gonna read your super chats, all right? All right, ring in. They covered your debate with Lance. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to go watch that. Sorry, I'm trying to sort out this Discord thing.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, let me just get you up on my screen here.
Me too. I'm live.
Okay, yeah, so am I.
No gamer words.
I'll try to avoid it. I'll do my best.
No great replacement words.
All right, why aren't you working, camera? I'm going to try to figure this out. I've turned on the virtual camera, so why won't you work? We're going to need... Okay, everyone, go get your tea. Go get your coffee. Get your jammies on.
Get your... maybe popcorn. I guess we'll see what happens.
Popcorn. Because it's going to take me a minute to figure out how to get this individual on screen to get my camera working.
Yeah. You got a new camera, I can see.
I did. Much nicer quality.
What are you using?
It is a Panasonic Lumix. No, I just don't know what the lens is. I had assistance setting it up. I can edit. I can do editing programs fine. I can hit record. Figured out a lot of computer stuff, but when it comes to like actual getting good camera quality, that is not my forte. I usually hire a video team for that. You can tell which videos are recorded by me versus a team.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you good at... You seem pretty good with camera and tech stuff. I'm clicking virtual camera on OBS, start virtual camera, and then I go to turn it on in our call. And
I don't think you need to start the virtual camera. I think you need to add a window capture and then capture the call in the window capture.
Oh no, I'm trying to make sure that you can see me in this call because I
could already see you before. I can see you right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can do that. I can figure that part out.
I can see you. You're here.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, how's your Trancel culture video going? Just while I set you up.
My real doll arrived.
Sorry, what? I asked about your Trancel culture video.
Oh yeah. What? How's it going?
Yeah, how's it go? Like, how's the reaction to it?
Pretty good. There's a lot of okay, I have a significant trans following, I think.
Yeah.
So there's some very supportive trans people in the comments, and then there's some other trans people calling those trans people pick-me's.
Right. So for my audience, I gave a brief explanation of what your video was, at the beginning, where it was essentially a critique, or maybe I'll just give you a chance to give a quick explanation while I'm almost
Okay,
done
so
setting
this
up
is
the
is
camera.
this our first topic?
If you want, I'm just trying to. I was just bringing it up while I was setting up the camera, but now I'm like, oh shit, my audience probably have no context, so I'm working backwards.
Okay. This is like a appetizer topic.
Sure. Let's start with that. Just because I found that an interesting video, and I wanted to ask you about it, but I know you wanted to talk about immigration.
Okay. Well, no, I want to talk about you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I made a video called Trancel culture, which was you were there when I made up that phrase. It just hit me. I had a light bulb moment in that panel, and it's about how trans activism can become excessively about tearing people down and attacking people, and how progressives are very bad at setting boundaries with minority groups. So the definition of racism is expanding rapidly. The definition of sexism is expanding, and like these are good things. I'm pretty progressive, so I think these are good things in a way. But then progressives are not good at being like, oh no, you're going too far now, so we have to like keep your activism in check sometimes. And they're super bad at doing that with trans people. And then also, if you say you're trans, then you are trans. So it's this thing where kind of unchecked power grabs, and then it's kind of fueled by like a vague suicide threat overall, or individual or group suicide threats.
Right. If you don't do X,
statistical.
trans people will commit suicide.
Right, and then that gets turned into you're murdering trans people. You don't care about trans people's lives and whatever. And so like you can kind of parlay these different accusations and claims into really hard-hitting, targeted claims at people to silence them and stop them from even questioning these narratives about gender.
Right.
So that's basically...
The most interesting part I found about that video was talking about how, like, what constitutes a minority group, right? Like, what you've got, you know, an inherent background. Some people have an inherent racial or ethnic background that they can't control that makes them a part of a minority group. But then there's, you know, are transgender people actually a minority group when you can just identify as it? We were just discussing a SoCal city policy where they're going to be giving $900 UBI to people just on the basis of them being transgender or non-binary. It's just a pilot program. And I'm like, damn, like, anyone in my chat
anybody
can
will
go,
say they're non-binary for $900.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Yeah.
So like, are they actually a minority group? What do you think about that? I'm starting with this because it's like the topic of agreement we'll probably have. So like you said, a palette.
Right. We want to wade into the dark waters. Okay. Well, yes, trans people are a minority group, but the thing is that there's no external definition of what makes someone trans beyond saying they are. So would I say everyone who says they're trans on Twitter belongs to the minority group of trans people? Like, no, because it's like a psychological state of being. So like, it's like saying, like on TikTok, all these people saying that they're neurodivergent or that they have like Tourette's or they're like whatever. Like just because you say you do doesn't mean you are. But then for the purpose of being fair to trans people, we can't say that you need a licensed psychologist or doctor to tell you that you're trans to be recognized by others. So it's a kind of gray area. I started the video with like, as a Jew. And I said that because being a Jew, like my mother's not Jewish and I'm not religious.
Well, then how does that make you Jewish?
Well, to a white supremacist, I'm a Jew. There's nothing There's nothing I can...
From my understanding, like it's your mother has to be or something like that.
Yeah, so to a Jew, I'm not a Jew.
Okay.
To a white supremacist, I am a Jew, based just on how I look, and there's nothing I can do about it. I guess I could transition. I could get whiteness affirming surgery.
Like
race reassignment surgery?
what's the Michael Jackson?
Yes. I could Michael Jackson myself into not being Jewish. But as for any practical, like, for any secular purposes, like, it only matters if you're a Jew if, like, other Jews are, like, nice to you because they think you're a Jew because of how you look, which they are. They're like, yeah, you're a Jew. Or people are mean to you because of how you look, because they think you're a Jew, which they are. So like, for all intents and purposes, race-wise, I am a Jew. I mean, literally blood-wise, I'm half Jewish, or almost half, maybe. I don't really know. I'm up to and including half Jewish. So my point is that like this is not something I can control. Okay. So like when white supremacists are like when I post a video and somebody's saying like every single time, or wait, whatever, the hundreds or thousands of like anti-Semitic comments I get, I can't just turn that off by being like, hey guys, I'm actually not Jewish. Like nobody gives a shit. It's a race thing. That's what, like, they hate Jewish blood. They don't hate Jewish beliefs.
So like when you're comparing that with transgenderism, do you think people can turn off being a transgender?
To some extent, I think that being trans or being gay is a behavior.
Is a behavior. Explain that further.
Yeah, like if I'm, so it could be even be an internal behavior like fantasizing, but like if I'm gay, that means that a significant amount of my sexual thoughts and activity is with other men.
Right.
Right? That's something I'm doing. And so whether I'm internally compelled to do that, how unhappy I would be if I didn't do that, like, is that what makes me gay? Like if you throw up if you had sex with a woman, is that how we decide if someone's gay? Like, no, like there's probably gay people who are like, or I'm positive there are gay people who are like, yeah, I could make do with the opposite sex. I just don't want to. And then there's gay people who are like, I couldn't make do with the opposite sex. My one true love is blah, blah, blah. And then there's, I don't believe anybody's like 100% straight or 100% gay. So it's some combination of like your internal predilections combined with what you end up doing with what you think about and blah, blah, blah. And I assume the same thing is true for trans people. There's probably people living in a country where like they would kill you for being trans who are not going to transition because they're like, well, it's not fucking worth it. It's like, is that person still trans if they want to but don't? Like, I don't know. But trans people, or at least most progressives, not even trans people, most progressives believe that it's a binary thing, that some people are just trans. And and I guess you have to configure it that way to make sense of like certain things, like giving them equal care or attention, or like if they want surgeries or hormones, like it's much harder to convince somebody to give you a gender reassignment surgery if you're like, well, I'm fine with what I have, but I kind of just want it.
Well, like, the problem is you can't make political policy for individuals. You have to make it for groups. So you have to have definitions of what those groups are typically. And
right.
There
And
has
so the only
and an out group.
Right. The only working definition that can really exist is if you say you're in the group. I don't really see another way to like do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
other than like having to prove that you're trans by like a doctor examining you and your brain or something, which just seems like easily to abuse.
Well, so what's interesting about that is that's made in a lot of the, transgender arguments is that their brains scan different or whatever, but that is also the case. That's typically not true. Is it? I've heard that, but I've found it's also the case typically for gay men. They found that as well, that they have just, it's not necessarily like it's completely different than someone who's straight, but the same abnormalities just tend to be in those people from the studies I've read.
My understanding is that there's some correlations, but it's not like, we're nowhere near the point where you could scan someone's brain and figure out if they're trans.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Or where someone could say they're trans and you can scan their brain and be like, actually, you're wrong. It just seems to me like an emotional or psychological experience that we are then assigning a label to, much like being gay or being straight. I don't believe in straight or gay people either. I just think it's the same thing of being like, we can protect this group of people better, or they can protect themselves or identify themselves better, or just get laid more easily, or whatever the fuck they're trying to do, if they just say that they're in this group.
So wait, you don't believe in straight people?
No.
So, but like a straight person would just be someone attracted to the same sex, not the same sex, the opposite sex, which tends to be most of human history. Like that's just like your biological imperative for reproducing. And that's like, especially monogamous religious families, like that's what you pursue. I want to marry someone, have kids, reproduce. Like, you don't believe in that, or you think there's just like deviations potentially within their brain that under the right circumstances they would pursue and not be straight?
Definitely situations can make people have gay sex who would not otherwise have gay sex.
So we're talking like Roman military, like
sure,
middle of nowhere. Okay.
Military, jail, stranded on an island. Like, we agree that people will.
But does that make
gayer.
you gay or not straight? That's interesting.
I would say so. And so one of those situations that you can put a human in and make them act gayer is like a city.
That's
if you put a human in an American city, they're probably much more likely to have gay sex. I would assume.
How red-pilled of you? How incredibly red-pilled.
How is that red pill?
There's a lot of people would say, you know, the cities. You got to move out of the cities because cities are turning people gay. But
yeah. I think they are turning people gay, but that's fine. I don't have a problem with people being gay. Like, I've had some gay sex.
We're just going full out on sharing, aren't we here?
Yeah, the situations that have made me act the most gay are when I was like 10 to 13 and couldn't have a sleepover with a girl yet, so I had to make do. Or being in like San Francisco or LA
Wait, you just
or
said
New York.
10 to 13? Those were your first sexual experiences?
No, probably 7, now that I'm thinking about it.
7? Dude, that's...
I think so. Just like experimentation. I knew it was going to happen. I know what happens when somebody...
I mean, do you... Okay, let me ask. Do you find having, like, experiences that young... Do you think that was bad for you?
No. I wasn't, like, having, like actual, like, sex. It was just, like playing doctor. Playing urologist. Specifically.
Okay, I'm gonna. Personally, I think, like, you know, my childhood was, I think to myself, luckily, very different. Sexual experiences weren't exposed to me until, you know, late in high school. Like, even like my first kiss, that kind of stuff. Like that.
Yeah.
You know, even just like really, really basic stuff wasn't until late in high school.
Do we need to?
So,
I think that was horrified by what I'm saying.
No, I'm not. Actually, no, I am horrified by it. I don't think sexual experiences at 7 are healthy, because I don't think at 7 you can conceptualize what's going on.
I knew what I was doing, but let's not conflate horror with like a rational judgment or statement that your childhood's better than mine.
I'm not. You
did say that. You said luckily.
Well, for me, from my opinion, I feel
from my opinion, you're fucked up. I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, we could compare. You could be horrified. We can compare experiences, but I reject your claim that because you're horrified, unless you have some fucking specialized knowledge about this topic, I think you're just saying what you think or feel, which is fine. I want you to.
Okay.
But let's not conflate that with like.
Do you think the average 7-year-old can conceptualize and understand the potential consequences and impacts of sexual acts? Do you think the average 7-year-old can do that?
No.
Okay, so we agree there. So do you think you were not? Do you think you were not the average 7-year-old?
I think the age of consent should be 17.
Fuck's sake. Excuse my language, chat.
17.
Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty. I mean, but with I think it's also. At our
chat? Your chat turned you against me last time, and they're going to do it again. So
I'm actually not reading my chat.
Yeah, but it's there.
I've commented once or twice. Of course, it's there. Should I shut off my chat?
I don't.
All right, I've closed it. All right, chat. We'll check you out after.
I've closed mine too.
This is for me. So you also agreed in your video.
Alone at last.
Alone at last. Terrifying. You also agreed in your video that you kind of had sympathies, at least, for the conservatives supporting the Don't Say Gay bill, or the anti-groomer bill, depending on which side you ask of the aisle.
I would say it is neither of those two. I think both of those are extremely bad faith interpretations of the bill and what is going on. Even I understand some of its stronger proponents are calling it the anti-groomer bill, but that's not what grooming is. But continue.
Okay, so you have some. It seems like you have some conception or some understanding from what you're telling me right now that there are limits. Sorry if that's not supposed to sound condescending. That you have some agreement here that their young people can't quite fully grasp these concepts yet for themselves, whether it be gender ideology or sexual relationships.
I think that you think I'm one of the more morally pure people that you have ever met.
Describe that, elaborate on that.
I think that you think that my heart is in the right place and that I generally have a good moral compass.
I hope that's true. I think
you believe that.
I don't know you well enough. You
don't know me well enough to know, but I think that is
my hope for most people I talk to, but unfortunately
I think that's
in the realm of politics.
Specifically for me, I think that's your working theory.
What gives you that? Conversations with you are always so weird, man. I'm not saying I dislike it. I always like a good weird conversation, but you definitely take it to weird places. Why is that your working theory?
I can just tell. And this is why I got mad at you for leaving the panel. I resent it when you act like you think I'm a worse person than you actually think. It hurts my feelings, and it makes me angry at you.
Man, we're gonna get into the whole emotional conversation now, the meta conversation about the conversation. You love your meta conversations.
Yeah.
Where did I say you were a bad person in that conversation?
You're not saying it explicitly, but you're clearly leaving the door open. You're like, so you have some conception that maybe kids shouldn't get fucked by their teachers. Okay, that
wasn't the conversation. I was asking conception around how children consider and see the world.
You're pretending you trust me less than you do.
No, I don't know you very well. We don't know each other that well. We've talked a bit. We've obviously had 3 or 4 conversations, but I have learned through my time in internet politics
that you could be betrayed at any moment.
Yeah, there's betrayal at every moment. People that I was
I think
best of friends with have done horrendous things to me.
I think so far your estimation of my character is more positive than you let on.
I feel that way about a lot of people that I talk to, and I understand that there's so many political games and how am I going to be perceived in this conversation that happened and why you would consider that. But
I deserve better. I deserve better than that. Because I'm more honest than those people.
You are very honest, and I respect that. But you don't have to partake in this conversation if you feel that.
No, I'm not saying I don't want to talk to you. I'm saying in exchange, I want you to be honest about how trustworthy you find me.
I don't know yet. I don't know you. I'm not going to make. Here's the thing. I've genuinely been.
You did this last time.
Yeah, we did.
You did that, but you did the same thing. You were saying
I don't know. You could be lying.
You're I don't know.
You could be lying about everything you say. This could be emotional manipulation. This could be.
But you don't think I am lying. You just don't think that. It's fine. Lauren.
Mr.Girl.
You can call me Max.
Okay. Jeez. It is. I am. Yeah, we're going on a trip here.
It's triggering. It's triggering to me for you to pretend that you trust me less than you do. Yeah.
I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know. I've spoken to you 4 times, 5 times. I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know you. People put on all sorts of faces on the internet. Believe me, I've seen complete opposite personalities. Now, one thing I will say is your complete willingness to be socially rejected by saying things that shock people does make me more likely to trust you, because obviously people who are more willing to face social rejection for the things they say tend to be more trustworthy. However,
sterling morality to be paired with that is pretty compelling, I think.
We argued about this last time, and I don't even know where your morality comes from. So that's like another question. But like I've also seen there are people, and there is a market for, ooh, I can't quite wedge my way. I'll be honest, I don't think this is you, but I also know there is a market for people who are like, I can't wedge my way into politics. It is so saturated from every corner that the only way that people are going to pay attention to me politically is by saying the most shocking things possible, because I'll be the only person willing to do that. And there were a lot of people who did that for a while, certainly in my industry when the right wing was booming in 2016. They weren't really that conservative, but you know, the shock factory definitely brought a lot of views. So I don't know you well enough to pin you or where you're going to be. I'm interested in having conversations with all sorts of interesting people, yourself included, especially people that are willing to say, you know, shocking things that most people won't approve of. That creates for interesting conversation. But I can't make a personal judgment about you.
We have formed a connection, Lauren, and you can't backpedal now.
No, like this is what I don't think you can form connections that are meaningful with people. Truly meaningful with people that you don't know in person or like in real life. Like, no, actually, no, I'll backpedal a bit on that. I do think you can form some meaningful communication online, but the most meaningful that's really valuable is going to be those real life relationships, those day-to-day catching up. I'm sorry, like it's just not going to be with people I have random debate panels with.
I'm not saying that we're best friends. I'm not even saying we're friends. I'm just saying that I think we know each other a little better than you're letting on. And that makes me angry.
In what way? Do you mean like a shared experience online of being canceled and having a lot of people reject? Bro, I was getting so ready for an immigration conversation, and then you go full meta conversation.
I told you I wanted to talk about our relationship.
Why? Like, why do you want to have relationships? Well, you do this with everyone you talk to, like Destiny as well. It's like, I want to talk about our relationship and how we're feeling. That's not like...
No, I've only done it with you and Destiny. I don't do it with everybody. It's not true.
Okay. Don't you feel like...
I'm doing it with you and Destiny for different reasons.
Man. Oh, okay. I'll be honest. Do you want to know what's going on in my head right now? Like, I want to have like an honest moment. So like, I set up my channel and I talk about politics for my audience because they enjoy me talking about politics. I do interviews and, you know, talk about my thoughts on the world. And I am definitely like, oof, like these kind of meta conversations about individual relationships with people. That's usually not like what people want to tune into. Like, that's like, oh, that's your shit. Like, you can talk about that on your own time. Like, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm like, oh, like, I'm sorry, audience. I'm not looking at my chat, but I do kind of feel bad that, you know, they kind of wanted a conversation about they want a conversation about immigration. They want a conversation about the world culture because they can't
talk about that. But the context is during that conversation, I want to let you know how I'm feeling. Because I'm going to say things and you're going to think that they're because of what I'm feeling about the topic. Like you said, you want to talk about immigration. I don't really care about immigration. I care about you.
Why do you care about me? We don't know each other. Like, we just know each other as internet figures.
We know each other well enough, I think. I think that's the whole point I'm making, is I think we do know each other somewhat.
But like as the caricatures of online people and each other's content.
No. Better than that.
I feel like you're like alluding to some secret friendship we have offline.
No.
So like everyone here for like 90% of our conversations, like I've messaged you about some of your content, maybe here and there behind on Discord, right? But all of our conversations are just, you know, public streams and stuff. So there's not.
Well, I'm talking about the 10% that's not the.
Okay, so I've said I found some of your videos like very creative.
I don't want to talk about what we've said. It's not about what we've said. That doesn't matter. It's that I can tell that you're being very careful with how you appear to feel about the things I'm saying and how you appear to judge me, what your estimation of me is.
Of course, because I don't know you. I don't know you, and I don't trust people inherently. I used to be a lot more trusting before I got into politics, but unfortunately,
okay, but you're,
and I don't know your motivations.
You don't want to be seen acting trusting toward me and then be betrayed. I think you might not want to be seen acting trusting toward me at all, though. I think it's both. I do think that, yeah, some horrible thing could come out about me and then make you look horrible by association. But after all the time,
you know, that's less what I'm thinking about. When I think about like trusting people, or especially in the online sphere, it's of course the outside care about whether someone did something horrible or was like connected to something horrible, and of course that's in like the back of my mind. But it's actually mostly like I've genuinely had so many people that I was like friends with. We were associates. We talked together, did streams all together, and they have been
concerning people.
And I don't mean that in their like public reputation. I mean like in their private treatment of other human beings. And so I really have made a legitimate effort in my life to separate like my real life and my friendships, and like there's some crossover here and there for sure from my like online political life. So like when I call you, it's we're gonna talk about politics. This is like, you know, this is
we're putting on a show.
It's not a show. There is honesty to it, but you still have to have like, I will never bring on my child to be a part of a live stream I do. Like that doesn't make the live stream a show, but I just make sure to have these parts of my life and my heart sequestered. Yes, exactly.
Yes. The problem is, and the reason I'm becoming personal, is that a lot of the conversations we're having are about personal topics. Mm-hmm. So you can't say like, you know what, I think your childhood was fucked up, Max. And here's why I think that. And like, oh, so you have some conception that like kids shouldn't be exposed to sex completely. So let's talk more. Like, you're saying personal shit to me, and it contradicts my understanding of the level of, I guess, trust and rapport that we've established. So when like Vince James does that, it kind of annoys me, but it doesn't make me that mad. But when I sense you like leaving a panel or distancing yourself from me, even in a one-on-one conversation, it starts to feel like you're lying. Because you have to, in order to interact with me, and in order for me to interact with you, we have to have some expression of our opinion of the other person's character and work. And so when I'm just the fact that we're talking to each other at all gives the other person some level of like, okay, so you're at least talking to me. So what does that say? What does that mean Lauren Southern thinks about Mr.Girl or Max and his work? What does it mean? Is Mr.Girl platforming the Nazi queen? Is Lauren Southern platforming a child molester? These are questions that people have when they see us, and we have to have some kind of answer in how we interact with each other. There's no way to avoid a implied evaluation of the other person. And my implied evaluation of you is very favorable. I think I'm quite, not generous, but just trusting of you.
But that's, okay, so.
And you are not doing the same for me, and that makes me mad. I'm not saying you have to do it, but I do need to clear the air and tell you that it pisses me off.
You are perfectly entitled to being pissed, and I'm willing to have, you know,
great.
I don't, maybe it's just me, but I don't have all of these, like, maybe if I really, like, pried the depths of my consciousness, I could find intimations of, you know, considerations here and there, but I don't have, like, these massive meta-narratives before I speak to people. Like, it just isn't this massive meta-narrative going on in my head. Like, I'm willing to speak to anyone. Some people, it's going to end up more argumentative and back and forth.
So are you willing to do a stream with Amos Yee?
I don't know who that is. I think I've watched one video on him ages ago. Was he
thinks that the age of consent should be 0, and he's in jail for looking at child porn. Would you do a stream with him?
Well, he's in jail, so it sounds like he's where he's supposed to be. But like if he were public, I'd probably
yes.
have a very argumentative time with this individual.
But
like,
you would do a stream. You would do a stream with him.
I don't think it would be like calling it with him. Like, sure, I'd do a debate. Because it would go completely against my ideology and everything I've preached for years to say, some people need to be completely censored and banned off the internet. And when it comes to pedophiles, put them in jail, of course. That's completely aside from conversations of free speech. But when it comes to bad ideas, always oppose them, always debate against them, always confront them head on. Otherwise, they fester. And civilization forgets why they were bad ideas. So yeah, I'm willing to have conversations. Not all those conversations are going to result in me agreeing or being friends with someone after them, though.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we'll end up being friends. Maybe I'll get to know you. I don't know. Maybe that'll be the case. That's not. I brought you on here to talk about.
I brought you on here, motherfucker.
Okay. Or yeah, I brought you on here. You brought me on there. I just when I have these conversations with people, I always. Maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know, but it's like, okay, we're talking about this topic. We're gonna discuss this part of the world. I will talk about personal relationships.
Was our relation. I said our relationship as the first topic, and you said
oh, you did. Our relationship, our last stream, you leaving the panel, finishing boat conversation, great replacement. Okay, yeah, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, so me leaving the last panel, once again, that had a lot more to do. Yeah, I know. That had a lot more to do with when there's 5-6 people in a panel, 6 people, it's impossible to have a conversation. There's like 7 different, and maybe it's just how my brain works, but like I have to have one line of this is the conversation. It's going from here to here to here to here. When there's like 5 different conversations happening at once, jumping between 6 different people, I can't keep up with it. It literally just overwhelms me. I'm like, this is...
Okay.
Like, this is overwhelming.
Are you acknowledging that you're a different person with me interpersonally than professionally? And you're saying you want this to be a professional conversation?
I reckon that I'd have my conversations with people when I'm not on stream versus when I am on stream are probably slightly vary, and that's nothing to do with like, okay, we got to put on a different personality. It's there's a purpose to the stream, right? I don't agree. Maybe this is different, but I don't really agree with the Twitch kind of ideology where it's like hop on stream and just chat with random people all day. I don't agree with that. I kind of think there should be a purpose to the conversations.
Even in a purposeful conversation. Okay, so we can talk about the Don't Fuck Kids bill, but even in that conversation, you are contradicting my sense of where we're at. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I genuinely don't follow that. Yeah, I genuinely don't follow that.
Well, I don't think I can explain it you're saying
because I agree. I was literally saying like, let's start with this topic because it's something that we agree on.
We don't agree on the way you speak to me, Lauren. I don't agree with that. I think we probably ideologically agree on what we're saying, but I don't agree with the very careful, like you're disarming a bomb or holding out a shit-covered, I don't know, sock as you speak to me. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with what you're implying about me when you...
But what if I genuinely feel that? Like, do you want me to lie to protect your feelings?
No. I want you to stop lying to protect my feelings.
But I genuinely with all my heart think that what happened to you as a child is deeply troubling. So am I supposed to not say that?
No. That part's fine. I understand that.
Okay.
I don't know if it happened to me. I think it's something I did, but yeah, that part. No, that's not what I'm talking
I think you're
about.
gonna like for us to continue speaking. There are going to be moments, and I can clarify. Like I'm not trying to be condescending. but there are going to be moments
not in my
where
head. I don't need clarification.
Okay, well, there are going to be moments where like you might not like the way that I speak to you, and I can,
I don't like that you are pretending you trust me less than you do. Yeah. I don't like it.
I don't know you. That's as simple as that. I don't know you well enough to know if I trust you or not. I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe you.
That's fine. We can agree to disagree on that.
I guess so. We're going to have to.
And I'm probably, what's going to happen too is if we really want to have a meta conversation, I'm probably going to get more antagonistic with you because you're choosing to not believe what I say. So I'm going to be like,
how can I'm not choosing not to believe it. I just don't believe you.
Okay, so you don't believe when I say this is my experience, this is my feeling, and you say I just don't believe it. Like that's not leaving much room for conversation, right? If you choose to simply not believe how I feel about situations,
no, I'm not choosing. Stop saying I'm choosing to not believe you. If I say
you just don't
have a net, if I say I have a net worth of $5 billion, by the way, you just don't believe me. You're not choosing to not believe me.
Okay, so you just don't.
You couldn't believe that if you wanted to. Yeah.
Okay, so you just don't believe it. Well, then there's not going to be much room for conversation here, right? Like if you can't believe,
we can accept the impasse and move on.
All right, well, I think this is kind of one of those where. So if we go on and speak about immigration, and I say this is my feeling about X, Y, Z, but you don't believe my feelings about things, or I think that's going to be a pretty difficult conversation going forward.
Are you trans? You want the power to define who you are by what you say about yourself? No, I don't believe anything anybody says about themselves. And you are definitely not exempt from that.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying that's going to make conversation very difficult. I'm not saying you have to.
Yes, I think that we might end up having, in fact, a difficult conversation. I think that's even likely at this point.
Right.
You're also in a position where you have to be somewhat evasive.
What's that position?
Conservative on liberal platforms.
Oh, so you mean like being on YouTube, you naturally have to kind of watch what you say and talk about.
You're frequently accused of dog whistling.
Sure.
The problem is, I said this on the panel too, that political correctness and dog whistling are two sides of the same coin. The more political correctness we have, the less safe people are to say what they're thinking, and if their income is dependent on not getting canceled, then dog whistling increases. And then you don't know who's dog whistling and who really is just saying their carefully worded, nuanced take, when really what they want to be saying, you don't know who's saying the nuanced take because what they want to be saying is like, I hate people of color, or I hate Jews, or whatever. Like, is your Renaud Camus in introduction and all this stuff, is this all to avoid just saying what you really want to say is, I think Jews are going to replace us and I don't want them to? Is that what you're really thinking? Nobody knows, but because you're not allowed to say that, then there's no way to say like, well, why don't you just say what you really think? Because if that's what you think, you can't anyway.
I see what you mean. We briefly had this conversation the other day where it's like, even if you are nuanced, people just assume you're mask on or something, since you couldn't say it anyways. So anyone who's nuanced just gets caught up in, oh, you're just dog whistling. You actually want to say something more extreme, but you just can't. So it makes it pretty difficult to have conversations.
So I'm in a privileged position of not wanting to say anything that's against TOS.
Right. So you have no desire to.
I have no beliefs that would be against TOS if I said them.
I feel like
I could probably word some of my beliefs in a way that will break TOS. I probably have or will at some point, but generally, I am falling in line with like the progressive march of whatever. I guess having a video called Trancel culture is obviously pushing against what's acceptable for definitely for advertiser friendly stuff.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of progressives don't really get upset about TOS until it starts biting at their ankles, right? I'd say there's probably 2 or 3 subjects where it's like, oh, TOS, and most of it is around the trans stuff. I mean, Tucker Carlson is banned from Twitter. Twitter is a bit harsher than YouTube. There's a few personalities banned from Twitter for their takes on transgender situations. And then probably COVID conversations that we couldn't have because of TOS. That's probably
but
the 2 big
I
ones.
agree.
But no, there's no advocacy of mass genocide that I'm just got to get it out, but I can't because YouTube.
But we don't know that. There's no way.
Right. There's no way to know that.
There's no way to know that. So I want to give you the. I want to just make the point that before we talk about anything around race, that you're going to be seen as potentially dog whistling,
as lying, no matter what I do, no matter what I say, for sure.
No matter what you do, until there's a mainstream monetizable platform where you can make a living while also saying the Jews will not replace us. Once you can get paid to say that, then we can start trusting
what people say.
A lot.
That's interesting.
Yeah, generally trusting more people. Yeah. But if you're not allowed to be racist,
but
then you have to dog whistle.
To me, I find it interesting that a lot of people apply that to me as an internet. Obviously, there's obvious reasons why people apply that to me as a conservative internet figure, particularly. But technically, you could apply that to every single person around you every single day. Anyone around you could secretly be this Nazi or wanting to put you in a gulag, but they just can't say it or they'll lose their cushy job at some completely non-political business.
Yeah, and so I would rather people just say it. That makes me feel safer. But also, this is why I think I have a decent trans following. I think trans fans of mine believe that I am saying what I actually think about them.
Right.
Or what I actually think about gender. And and while I push back sometimes, I think they find that it's genuinely good-natured or affectionate. And I think that is relieving in a way that everybody tiptoeing around you isn't. So, yeah.
Also, chat.
I just want
to say, I'm not looking at my chat, don't worry, but I'm not smoking down here. I'm burning incense. Because I know there's smoke going up on the screen. So that's, I think that's interesting because you would never know, walking around as someone who is transgender, you would never know every day what person, it's almost like being a woman half the time and someone calling you beautiful. You never know who's saying that to be nice and you never know who's saying it because they genuinely believe it. Like you just know as a politeness, when a woman puts on a dress and does her hair, you're supposed to tell her she looks beautiful tonight, even if, she doesn't have the most attractive face or body or something. And when it comes to transgender people, am I just affirming them because that's polite, or do they actually believe what they're saying? That would be
I've never complimented my girlfriend's looks.
What? Sorry. Okay, explain the reasoning behind this. I'm just
that is the reasoning.
Oh, that's the reasoning.
No, it's not quite the reasoning. Part of it's just that being evaluated is
I'm sorry.
Wait. My camera just turned off.
Oh, it did turn off.
Where did you go? I don't understand why. Oh shit! I have to plug it in. Hang on.
Okay, now I've gone and I've looked at chat. Yeah, I'm telling you, we're going to get into some bizarro conversations on this stream. I'll have anyone you guys want on this stream. You just tell me who.
You're apologizing to chat?
No, I'm telling them I'll have anyone they want on stream. We're going to have some interesting combos.
It's partially an apology.
Perhaps.
You can't apologize for other people, Lauren.
Well, no, I think when people come to your space for if I make a documentary and someone's someone watches it and they're like, wow, Lauren, that was a terrible documentary. Like, I'm probably going to apologize because they come to watch a Lauren Southern documentary for a certain experience, right? So, like, if I don't offer someone an experience that is typically what they were expecting, probably be an apology. I didn't apologize, but this is a weird conversation compared to what I would normally have, and maybe some people don't like it.
Compared to last time, it's pretty similar.
Oh, you mean the panel? Well, that was a weird conversation too.
No. Our last.
Oh, our last conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where were we? They're
I
talking
think that
about complimenting your girlfriend, and you don't compliment your girlfriend.
No, I never have. And yeah, I just think evaluating her body, even if it's a positive evaluation, is, I don't know, gross somehow.
That seems inhuman. People like affirmation, especially about their body.
They like, yeah, you can affirm somebody's body by, without complimenting it.
Have you genuinely never complimented? Have you genuinely never complimented your girlfriend, or is this just like a?
I have genuinely never complimented my girlfriend.
On anything.
I have basically never on anything. Yeah.
Why? That seems unhealthy.
I don't know. I just feel like it's not my place to evaluate her. I just don't want to do that. I've insulted her. I've never insulted her appearance though. I've called her a horrible name.
So you can't evaluate her, but you can insult her? Can you see the contradiction?
Well, I don't mean to insult her. It just comes out. But when I'm
So wait, can you see the contradiction there?
Yeah. Yeah, if I say you're a fucking idiot,
okay,
you would think that I would balance that out with, no, you're smart. I've never called her smart though.
You know what's interesting is I think that actually plays well into like a human dynamic in general. It's very easy for us to do things that are destructive, but it takes genuine effort for us to do things that build other people up.
No.
No,
I'm choosing to not do that. I'm going out of my way to never compliment her.
So the insults are like a mistake. You don't want to do the insults, but that's like a mistake that slips out. But why wouldn't compliments slip out if you genuinely believed that she were, a wonderful woman that you loved?
Wonderful
why would only insults slip out?
Because I am reduced. Because she could be pretty difficult sometimes. And
dude, I feel like this is like a therapy session. But...
Yeah. So sometimes. So you know how I told you I was angry at you earlier, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll do that, much the same way I would say I'm angry at anybody in a like this is how I'm feeling, blah blah. Sometimes that doesn't work. She doesn't listen. And then I'll try again. And then I'll get louder. I'll get angrier. But because she's my girlfriend, I need her. In some ways, she's
I genuinely can't tell if this is an act. Like, I genuinely can't tell if this is. Do you know why I think it's an act? Because it literally sounds like you are acting out someone describing like an abusive relationship.
Okay, I'm aware that it sounds like that, and I'm aware that that's funny, and so I know that what I'm saying is objectively funny, and I enjoy it.
It's funny if it's an act. I'm not sure if it's so funny if it's not an act.
No, Lauren, it's only funny if it's not an act. That's the problem. So I know it's funny, but when my tools of reason and I statements don't work, and I still don't feel listened to, and I feel that she is using underhanded manipulation to try to control me or silence me or steamroll me or otherwise force her agenda onto me, because I think she's very underhanded and controlling sometimes.
Why would you be in this relationship in the first place? Like, it seems like you feel entitled to a certain type of conversation that people have to have with you, but you can have your conversation with them however you want if you have an emotional outburst. Like, Why are you guys even together if she's so underhanded and manipulative and this and that, and you can't even bring yourself to compliment her? Like, that just is mind-boggling to me.
No. You keep saying I can't bring myself to compliment her. I'm telling you.
Or you're
that
actively choosing.
I actively choose not to compliment her. Man, are you addicted to compliments?
I think compliments are, words of affirmation.
You're such a streamer.
Words of affirmation you don't have to be a streamer. Every human craves that. It's a shame.
I don't.
There's a lot of people. Okay, well, you're very different. Like, there's no one watching this on your stream or mine that would think that you aren't different from the average person. And I don't even think you would disagree with that. But the average human being enjoys compliments.
The average person thinks they like compliments, but they don't.
No.
They don't. You literally, this conversation started with you saying when someone tells you that you're beautiful, you have an unpleasant experience of being like, are you lying to me?
It can be hard to perceive, but that doesn't mean you don't like compliments.
So I know we're all supposed to say, oh, I love being such a pretty girl for everybody. It's so nice having everybody tell me how cute and pretty I look with my new fucking camera and my nice lighting. You know what? It's actually not that pleasant. I don't like it when people... I've told my chat that I will not respond to any comments about my body because I don't like them talking about me. I don't like it when I come on and they're like, oh, you look so hot today. You're so handsome. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like being complimented.
Dude, this has to be an act. I'm sorry.
It's not an act. I don't think you think that.
I don't know. I can't tell. This is like what half the problem is. You're like, Lauren, why don't you trust me? And I'm like, I literally like, it's so absurd. It's so absurd.
Okay.
Like, I've never had an interaction like this in my life. It's just so, it's
yes,
counter to what the average human. No, I don't think, because you're saying you're honest, but like to me,
yes,
I feel like
I'm
more
literally
people...
just being honest with you.
I feel like
just being honest.
Okay,
Everybody thinks I'm like Andy Kaufman.
Yeah,
that's just being honest.
Genuinely where the vibes I'm getting.
I'm just being honest with you.
Like the average person would be more inclined. The average person would be more inclined to lie about not wanting a ton of compliments. Like, ooh, I don't need all the online affirmation. I just do this for this and that and that. But like, secretly, we all love affirmation.
No,
like,
here's what I like affirmation that's like super believable. Like when people are like, I hate.
Okay, that's very.
They're like I hate your videos, but this one, I think you made a good point, and it made me rethink some things.
That sounds like you like critique, not that's not affirmation, that's a critique.
When someone tells you that you're beautiful, they are getting gratification out of it.
Why?
They're masturbating. It's fun to tell somebody. It's like whistling at somebody or slapping somebody's ass when they walk by you. It's enjoyable to the speaker. And it's framed as like, you can tell this because of how you feel when like a creepy old man tells you that you're beautiful. It doesn't feel good because you know that he's only saying it because it feels good to him to say it. It feels good to compliment people.
There are genuine compliments and there are disingenuous compliments. There are two different types. They're not all in the disingenuous category.
No, even if a creepy old man says you're beautiful, I'm sure he's being genuine, but it doesn't feel good because you understand that he's doing it as a way to hump your leg.
I have had old dudes compliment me in the most respectful, wonderful ways ever.
I said creepy.
Okay, why? Okay, so
I understand. I'm talking about
if they're specifically being creepy, sure, of course that's going to be something that's disturbing and I dislike, but there are ways to compliment women that women don't take as creepy.
There are the negative experience. I'm not talking about just women. The negative experience that typically, in my example, a woman has. You almost said women.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then I fucking changed it. That typically a woman has that we're all familiar with. I'm using this because you're saying, oh, you're so different and weird. I'm saying, no, you are aware of this. I'm saying it applies to all compliments everywhere.
Yeah, that's where I disagree. I think to apply to all compliments everywhere is weird because I think that there are good compliments and bad compliments. There are creepy compliments and endearing ones.
It's fine if you disagree with me, but I'm responding to your claim that I believe or acknowledge that I'm different from other people in this. That's not what's different. What's different about me is that I'm aware of the duality and mixed feelings that somebody feels when they're complimented, even if the compliment is genuine, even if it's from somebody that they want to be complimented by, and even if it feels good, there's still an aspect of telling the person, hey, one of the most important things about you, especially right now, is how you look. I'm really enjoying looking at you, and it feels good for me to look at you. It's masturbatory to a certain extent. And if you're comfortable with that, that's fine. But it is there. And I think other people, I think normal people are in denial. No, I'm not saying it's the only aspect. I said it's a component of it, Lauren. And what I'm saying is when it is the only aspect, it's really blatantly unpleasant and creepy. When it's the only aspect is the creepy old man thing. A creepy old man or somebody screaming at you, nice ass from across the street. That is a compliment stripped away of everything else and only the masturbatory part.
So would you say that there is at least a difference between a creepy old man across the street yelling nice ass and you getting a haircut and your father saying to you, you look wonderful. That looks great on you.
There is a difference. There a difference? But there is a difference, but there is also an overlap.
You think that there can be
the creepy old man aspect, especially if it's your absolutely, especially if it's your father, he's complimenting himself also at the same time. You're his thing that he made.
It seems like
he's proud of you. If somebody else said you look beautiful, then if someone says you look beautiful, your father is going to feel proud and feel like, yeah.
So it seems like you interpret a lot of these terms and people in general from their darkest, most twisted place.
No, you are ignoring the dark, twisted
that's
place.
What I'm getting from you.
I'm saying it is a component, and you are changing the subject.
I'm not changing the subject.
What you asked was,
this is directly the subject.
Are you claiming that there is not a component of selfish pride when a father compliments his child?
So every compliment has a selfish aspect to it. Every compliment. Can you perceive a compliment that doesn't have a selfish aspect to it?
No, every compliment has a selfish aspect to it, but especially from a parent who feels ownership of you and everything you've become. Their life's work is to make you into what you are. So when somebody compliments that thing, they're proud. If they are the ones complimenting that thing themselves, they're still obviously feeling pride.
Let me play out a scenario for you. Let's say I'm at a film festival and I'm competing against a filmmaker that I absolutely hate. We both put our films up. We have like so much interpersonal drama. They've tried to ruin my life. There's not a stick in me that wants them to win this, but they win it. And I decide, you know what? I'm going to compliment them on their win because that was impressive. Is that something coming from an aspect of selfishness, or is that something perhaps coming? What's selfish about that?
You're showing everybody
in private.
You're showing yourself what a good sport you are.
So there's no selfless motivation. Okay, do selfless
especially
compliments
not with
exist
complimenting
to you?
Somebody's looks. Fully selfless? No, I'm saying it is a
every
component.
Compliment is selfish, but there are no selfless compliments.
I'm saying it is a component. Are you telling me that you cannot understand the concept that something can have a small piece of something, and that doesn't mean it is that thing?
I think in some of these situations we're discussing it so small that it's not even worth mentioning.
Okay, then maybe that's what's different.
Yeah.
Is that I think it is.
But why wouldn't you focus on what is the more beautiful aspects that are probably the larger part of compliments and interactions?
Because if you ignore cancer, it kills you. And I think a lot of social conventions are built around ignoring cancerous aspects of interpersonal interactions. And I find compliments generally have a cancerous component to them. And the good parts of compliments, I think, can usually be accomplished without complimenting somebody.
Why can't you just compliment someone in a way that you find positive?
Because I don't believe that it's ever all just positive. I don't believe it's all ever just negative either.
Do you think your girlfriend's beautiful?
I can't answer that.
You can't answer it.
She's watching.
You can't. You can't dare have her hear you say that you think she's
She would
beautiful.
find out what I see. She would find, well, or that I don't.
Well, so what happened to being honest? I thought you liked maximum honesty. Max?
As you pointed out, Lauren, there's a difference between privacy and lying. You wouldn't bring your kid on stream. I wouldn't bring my Shaylin on stream.
Okay, but you can't talk about whether you think she's beautiful or not?
No, it's private. My evaluations of her physical appearance are private, from her at least. If I
okay.
knew she was never going to watch this, I would answer.
I'm just processing this.
Me too.
There's a 50-50.
Wow.
I genuinely, and you can choose. I genuinely, like, 50% of me is like, this is an act, and then the other 50% of me is like, maybe this dude is serious.
I am serious. I don't know why you would think that. I guess people who haven't watched a lot of my content say that, but I don't think I ever. It's like I'm. If it's an act, it is an act I will do till the grave, so it doesn't matter. I've never contradicted anything I say in my videos.
Like, you create some very interesting content. Like, it's takes you into a wacky world for sure, and I think people like being taken into wacky worlds and seeing very different perspectives, because so much of the content we get online is like just these townhouses, repeatedly the same thing for miles and miles and miles and miles, right? So throwing us out of whack is interesting, but then it's hard to interpret what is genuinely wacky and what is
I'm being genuine. What I'm trying to put forth is that maybe the dichotomy of feminists saying, oh, you should never sexualize or objectify a woman, and then conservatives pushing back with, like, we can't even compliment women anymore. Come on, guys. Maybe there's a third way of looking at it, that people do like being sexualized and objectified, but at the same time, it's also unpleasant. And maybe the answer is that there is no way to give a pure compliment. There's a way to give a totally impure, dirty compliment that someone hates. That's obvious. But maybe there is no way to give a compliment that does not also make the person think, like, especially about looks, like, is that all I am?
Okay, yeah, to be the best of faith interpretation, there are absolutely moments in my life where men have complimented me on my looks, and I'm like, wow, like, that's all you think of me. Like, I can tell. But those are usually situations where it's like, it's been directly asked, like, what do you like about me? And that's all they say. There's nothing else to it,
yeah,
right?
Okay, so that's more obvious.
But if they included, I would be sad. I would be objectively sad if I never got complimented on my looks by, like, my husband. Or
my girlfriend is sad. Yes, I think she is also sad that I never compliment her looks.
So why wouldn't you try to remediate that to someone that you're with, that's your life partner?
Because I would rather make her feel sad than make her feel raped.
What? Okay. Raped. That's a big word. That's a big word to use around language.
Yeah.
How you think you can rape someone with a compliment?
No, I said feel.
Feel. You think you can make someone feel raped with a compliment?
I mean, I'm speaking figuratively, so I don't think a compliment can make someone literally feel the same way as raping them, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
But I'm saying it can make you feel objectified and used. You could say used if you want a less colorful word.
Used. Okay, that's a much better word. Yeah, I think language is important.
I would rather make her feel sad than used.
Does she feel that way?
I don't know.
You should probably ask her.
Well, she doesn't get to decide this. This is for me.
Is it? Because she's also in the relationship. And how you like to set a lot of boundaries with how people talk to you.
Yes, but the way boundaries work in our relationship is I think you can tell someone not to do something to an extent, but you can't tell them they have to do something. I don't think you can set a boundary. I can't say like, I'm setting a boundary. You have to hug me. I could say you can't hug me. You can't compliment me. I hate being complimented. She never, because I hate it so much. Although I don't think I've said it's a boundary, but no compliments, no thanking, no apologizing. I think those are the main three.
Okay, this is better than Sam Hyde. I'll give you that. You've one-upped him. You've one-upped him in your game, and I don't think you'll ever break.
But
character.
Sam Hyde is lying. Sam Hyde's a liar, or I guess he's a performance artist.
Yeah.
He's an actor. You're so traditional that you think that I'm lying because I'm different from you.
I don't think you're lying. I think you're an artist. You're an artist.
No, this is literally just my life.
I mean, that's what you would say if you were a very good performance artist, isn't it? Is it not?
I don't know.
So we're kind of in that same predicament, right? Where you were talking about you can never tell if someone's dog whistling. Well, it's very difficult to... You can never tell if you're an artist or acting. When you're acting in such a way that is...
You're choosing not to believe me.
You know what? The part that makes it unbelievable is that you won't even acknowledge... You won't even acknowledge how different it is. You won't acknowledge how
it's different from a conservative traditional Christian.
No.
Women like to be told that they're pretty and they like to be complimented and blah. This was my whole problem with cuties.
There's no.
This is what I got. Part of what I got in trouble for saying in cuties is that like when you tell your daughter that she's cute, you're objectifying her and using her.
But that's like a very strange perception. The word cute
is sexual. I'm telling the world, when you stick a camera in an 11-year-old's butt, it's the same as when you tell an 11-year-old, "Oh, you look so pretty today."
I think that is
even if you're her parent.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you're like reaching for content to trigger me because I've like maybe hit the nail on the head with the act, but like no, there's no one who thinks calling a little girl cute and putting a camera on her butt is the same. Like no, there's just no one on this planet who thinks that.
I don't think it's literally the same, but I think that well, first of all, one is very obviously objectifying and the other is much less objectifying, but it is still gratifying yourself about an 11-year-old's appearance. Sexual.
You're not gratifying yourself by saying something is cute. You're not.
I think you are.
Are you gratifying yourself when you say that a baby bear walking by is adorable?
Yes, it feels good to say.
So when we do things that feel good, are they always selfish in using the thing? Like, is that always a selfish, bad thing to do?
No. But when you're talking about someone's appearance, you're gratifying yourself with their body. I'm not even saying that's always bad. I'm just saying it's fucking happening.
But there are different. I just disagree with that.
So like when I tell my cat, when I tell my cat that they're cute, I'm saying it because I enjoy saying it. They don't even know what I'm saying, and I actually I don't compliment my cats either for the same reason. But I don't think that it would. I don't think they would care if I said it because they don't know what I'm saying. But I just find it kind of gross.
I mean, okay. There's no way this is real. There's no way. Maybe it is in like the very, very off chance, but I find this very hard to believe. It's true. Like you actually believe this. If you want me to be honest.
I do.
Okay. I disagree fundamentally. I think that compliments are a beautiful, wonderful thing. I think that they can be.
Well, if you think I'm lying, then why do you need to rebut if you think I'm lying?
I'm just, it's a conversation. So there's like,
Well, I don't.
you were talking about this dynamic. Even, you know what? We're having a conversation, even if you are putting on an act. I guess I'll just. You're right.
You'll have a conversation. You'll have a conversation with the cartoon character that I'm playing that isn't real, because deep down inside, everybody likes complimenting little girls and has no reservations about it. You know how many you know how many millions of people you could find in the United States who are far left-leaning who would say the exact same thing that I'm saying, that complimenting little girls is objectifying them? Why am I lying when I say it? It's not like a unique. It's just different from you, but it's not like what's different about me is that I'm able to have this conversation with you, but not be like a fire-breathing feminist that's also screaming at you that I hate you.
Okay, so there are feminists that do say compliments to women are objectifying, but they are very rare, and usually, you know, they tend to be in like
they're not.
Okay, so give me.
They're not that.
Can you give me like a?
I was raised by feminists, and I was raised by feminists in a liberal town. My mother married a woman when I was 10.
Okay.
I don't.
Was she the one who told you about this ideology, or was it just like came about it on your own?
No, it was never explicitly told to me, but it's a lot of my life experiences, and some ideology I was taught, feminist ideology, that anytime you're objectifying a woman, you should think about what you're doing. And then I extrapolated that to, after feeling objectified myself a lot of times in my life, that you should think about what you're doing anytime you objectify anybody.
Okay, so maybe I've just been roped back into the act, or maybe you are being genuine. But if you are being genuine, that perhaps that mental block is that I come from
trust issues.
Probably that I come from a conservative Christian background, and this is just like so wildly bizarre to me. But yeah, there are some feminists that exist out there that do believe comments are objectifying and akin to, assaulting a woman with your words. So that those people do exist. But to me,
yes.
I have discarded a lot of that as culture war absurdity, like the people who talk about manspreading. You're dominating your space, because it is just such an absurdity compared to the average person's experience of compliments.
But some men actually do manspread, and so
they do that because they have balls. Like,
no, some people do it as a fucking way to dominate the people sitting next to them because they're assholes.
I mean, making what is an action that is
if you're courteous to people sitting next to you, if you're courteous sitting next to people sitting next to you, you should tuck your balls into your ass. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke, but everything else I've said has been genuine.
Okay, so actually, let's use the manspreading thing as an example. Okay. We can generally assume, for the most part, most people that manspread do it because they have balls, right? And they're not deliberately trying to dominate the space around them because they want to oppress women or something. Can we agree on that? Maybe not the framing. I don't know. Okay. I don't know why most people manspread.
I
assume men tend to sit.
I know you assume that, but having balls of steel, I feel like I don't do that.
You don't, you sit like Justin Trudeau with your knees together whenever you go on the subway?
I could sit with my fucking legs crossed if I want to.
Okay. Well, a lot of people find that uncomfortable. So I am going to...
They say they do, but who knows?
I don't think that every man that just sits down at the subway is doing it because they're on some patriarchal power trip. I don't.
Well, I don't think it's that intentional. I'm just saying that, like... I'm not ready to say most people do X because of Y. I don't know. I don't know why.
You literally just said that 30 minutes ago when we were talking about compliments. Most people compliment people out of selfishness and pride and self-masturbation. You didn't say most people. You said every compliment is backed by that.
I didn't say backed. I said it's a component.
Yeah. So you just said most people do something because of a certain reason.
I also assume that for every degree a man spreads his legs apart while sitting on public transport, there is multiple reasons why he is doing so that cannot be reduced to, as a feminist would say, a patriarchal power trip, or as you would say, balls. I think that it's probably more complicated than that, and I'm not prepared to make a declarative statement about it. But if you...
I'd say that with compliments myself as well. I think that's why I made the comparison. Like, we cannot really judge every person's intentions behind it.
I'm not judging intentions.
I don't think we can reasonably say that everyone's selfish when they give a compliment either. I think
I didn't say that either.
Or there's a component.
Okay, yeah, that's what I said. And you think that's not true?
I think that there are rare moments in this world where people act in unselfish manners. Yes. I believe in good in this world. It's never going to be every aspect of a human or their actions, but I do believe people can do things just to be good. I think we all have a spark of good in us. And I don't think everything has to be in this fogginess of bad intentions connected to it.
You just want things to be simple.
No, that's very not simple, because unfortunately humans are complex. There are bad aspects to us as well, but not every action is all bad or always has a component of bad connected to it.
I don't think it's even bad to be selfish. I just think we should admit that when we compliment each other, we're doing it because it feels good. It's not that I'm against doing that. My problem is that...
Well, you are. You won't do it to your girlfriend or your cats.
Well, I'm not against other people doing it. My problem... I'm not saying it's wrong. The thing that's wrong to me, and what I find so distasteful, is when you're pretending that you're telling someone they're beautiful to make them feel good, but it's only to make yourself, or primarily to make yourself feel good. That's what I think is being used when you're using somebody. Like, there's times and ways that I will use my girlfriend. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But I
think I pinpointed a disagreement that I didn't really pinpoint before. So, like, I think the use of the word selfish is probably what potentially threw me off, or maybe not. But like, I think that helping and doing kind things for other people usually results in you feeling good, and I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's like, I think establishing that as connected to like a negative emotion like selfishness is not really fair. I think when we do good things for other people, we feel good. And I find that whether people are observing it or not, right? Whether I'm being congratulated for something or not, I just, like, in my soul, there's genuinely this spark of like, wow, this is how I want the world to be more like. I want people to treat each other more like this. This is a really beautiful thing. And it's like a spark of beauty. And when someone's down and you compliment them and make them feel better, or vice versa, there's like this spark of beauty. And it really isn't selfish at all. It's kind of a back and forth of you are literally lifting each other higher. Not selfishness is a very dragging down emotion.
There's times where you think you're helping somebody, but you're not. And you're saying something that is actually just making yourself feel good.
Right, that's a disingenuous compliment. And
no.
There's a
even if it's genuine,
even if
it's genuine, there's times where what somebody needs is not to be complimented.
Sure, but that's times. Once again, there's variations. There are times where compliments are going to be lies or unhelpful.
No, I'm not saying a lie. I'm giving you an example.
Okay.
Let's say your friend gets dumped, and they're extremely sad. Let's say they're getting divorced. They just found out her husband wants a divorce, and she's coming to you, and she says, "I don't know what I'm gonna do." And maybe what she needs in that moment is for you to empathize with her and just allow her to feel lost, and just like hang out with her and have like a long silence while she just thinks like, I really don't know what I'm going to do, and just gets used to the fact that that's how she feels, and that you're okay with her feeling that way, and that you can stand that that's how she feels.
Yeah.
Or you can cut her off immediately and say, what do you mean you don't know what you're going to do? You're only 27. You know how many people get divorced when they're 27? Kiddo.
Yeah, but
it's going to be fine. And so you may feel that you are helping her in doing that, but actually you are only helping yourself, because you don't want to feel like you don't know what you're doing. You don't want to sit there feeling like she doesn't know what she's doing. You can't stand watching her feel lost, which might be what she needs. And so I'm just giving you an example of like there are times where we can feel like we are lifting each other up, but actually we're not.
I agree. I don't disagree
Okay.
with that, but there are people that also
Okay.
appreciate different types of support, right?
Absolutely.
That still falls onto my, there are
But it's all
some
it's all just
compliments
more-
that are helpful and some that aren't. But for me, so like if I'm going through a tough time, I'd say I'm a bit of a mix. I want usually I don't really like the, therapy language kind of stuff. I like someone that can laugh with me, like gallows humor when I'm going through something really tough, especially if someone's experienced something similar, like camaraderie, gallows humor. Like that's really what helps me through a tough time. And then also the let's fix it. Here's what you need to do. Like someone who's like, you're amazing, you're this, you can do this, you can do that. Here's what you're going to do. Here's like, I do like a bit of that sometimes when I'm in a tough space. And I need that. Because I'm just someone that sometimes I'll get stuck in the mud and I need someone to come out and remind me that I can do it. I'll be all right. And there are a lot of people like that. And then there are a lot of people that feel that that's walking all over them and they just want to, sit there and have their emotions heard. They don't want to fix her in that moment. But there are variations. Like I don't disagree.
So okay, good. So I think it behooves one to think about why they're saying what they're saying. And if you're saying it because it makes you feel good, or because it helps you escape feeling uncomfortable, then that might not be helping the other person. And I find compliments are a good example of a time when frequently we are framing what we're saying as being for somebody else when it's not. Ultimately, or even mostly. So I think no matter what, there's a component of selfishness, but I think often, I guess why I'm using the word selfish is that you're saying it's for somebody else, but it's not actually. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing something for yourself. Like if I would be fine if I was just like said to Shaylin, like, hey, listen, I'm gonna say some vulgar shit about your fucking body right now, and I'm gonna love every second of it, and you're just gonna feel weird and gross. And then I do that's different. I'm more comfortable with that. My problem with it is when I'm doing it, but I'm pretending that it's for her.
So I can, when I'm in a conversation with someone, probably not when I was younger, but definitely now, like I can perceive when a compliment is selfish or they're trying to get something from me, right? So like there's some people that I've spoken to where they always in a conversation will refer to me with an endearing term like darling. I'll be called darling the whole time. And I can tell the entire time that this person would, stab me in the back whenever they got the chance, but they're using this term to try to like coax me into being more open with them because they know humans typically enjoy compliments and, oh, you're calling me this name, so you must, like me or this or that. Like I can tell when it's a bit of a manipulative compliment for sure, but I've gotten compliments that I know are genuine as well. I hope. No, and I've also given compliments that are very, very genuine. Sometimes even compliments that I'm like, man, don't really want to give it to this person, but they deserve it. They've earned it. They look great tonight. That's incredible. They did something amazing. I'll just put it on the table because I know that's probably the right thing to do. Like when someone's done something well, build them up.
Okay, so you reject my formulation of this as being always mixed.
I do, yeah. I think there are aspects of certain, maybe even the majority that do include a selfish component. But even then, I probably, what you're talking about, that feeling of, I enjoyed that when you say that's adorable when a baby does a dance or something. I don't perceive that as selfishness. So
People literally moan in pleasure as they say it.
They go,
oh God, look at your dog. Oh.
What's wrong? What is like maybe that moan has some issues, but what is wrong with finding something adorable and getting like warm, soft, fuzzy feelings? Like what?
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that that's what's happening. I think we should just acknowledge that. But when
selfish. It's not selfish to find a dog doing a little dance. Cute.
There's a component of it where it is just enjoyable to say it, and people moan in pleasure when they say it. That's all. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's why if to get to the bottom of this, if you're asking, am I just lying or faking when I say I don't compliment my girlfriend? No, and this is why.
All right. Well, we're just gonna have to agree to
through.
disagree. I do have to go in like 20 minutes. I was planned for 2 hours. So if there were any other topics you wanted to jump onto, do let me know.
Is there anything more you want to say about our boat conversation?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about it the other day, and ow, I just got a splinter. Jeez. I've decided every single creator asks me, let's talk about the Great Replacement, Lauren. Let's talk about that video. Obviously, Fanatic wants to do a debate with me at some point. I've done full-on analysis of it with Twitch people. It's been every conversation I've done, specifically with progressives and leftists. It's always about, Lauren, your boat thing, Lauren, the Great Replacement. And I think I've decided it's unhelpful to discuss my ideas about the world through the lens of the Great Replacement or the lens of even just old videos I've made, because for one, the great, although these may be two separate topics from things you wanted to discuss, but they're just not helpful in describing my worldview today. I'd rather just talk about okay, what's my opinion on immigration? Okay. Not what's my opinion through this lens of an old video.
I know, but my question's about you, not about your views on immigration. So let me pose this to you differently. There's a few ways to interpret what you just said.
Yeah.
One is you're rebranding. You're a white supremacist and always have been and always will be. But you've realized that the best way to spread your views and also make money is to rebrand yourself as a normal conservative.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people assume and say, yeah.
Yes. Another way is that you were radicalized, and now you're not.
So I reject both of those, but...
Okay. Another way is that you were immature, and it gave the impression, the way you were, I guess, taking viewpoints that you... I don't know, concerns about Europe turning into Muslim majority countries or something like that.
I think okay, sorry,
wait.
I'll let you finish, yeah.
Okay. And you were doing it in a kind of exaggerated, maybe irresponsible, I would say irresponsible way. So I guess this is a proposed explanation. You were irresponsible and young. And while you don't completely disagree with what you were thinking when you did those things or said those things, you said them recklessly, and you are now trying to not walk it back, but frame it in a way that you find more productive or less destructive.
Yeah, I think I'm older and better at explaining myself now. It's what's interesting is a lot of people are like, oh, she's hiding, she's this secret fraud, this, that, and the other, she's just wearing a mask to manipulate. And it's like, well, no, actually, I was just 20 and bad at explaining my ideas, so you took them to I was bad at explaining my ideas, which is my fault. So I'm still, I have not changed my mind on, I'm not for illegal immigration. I'm not going to change my mind on that,
you're still defensive. You're still defensive about it.
How?
I mean, even just then, you caught yourself saying, well, you took them the wrong way, blah, blah, blah.
No, I said that's my fault. It's my fault for being bad at explaining.
But you don't mean it. You're also saying, it's like you're saying, you know what my brother used to say to me?
Mm-hmm.
We would get in fights, and at the end he would say, I would have some conciliatory apology, and I'd be like, hey, listen, I'm sorry I said that. And he would say, I'm sorry that you're stupid. It sounds like that. I don't believe in apologizing for what I think every single person should go through in their 20s. I don't. The politics is a confusing and crazy world. I'm not asking you to. I don't want to apologizing or conceding or doing any of this. Politics is like a crazy, confusing world. You're going to have to explore before you understand your ideas fully and how you portray them. And most people just don't do it in the public eye. Stop being evasive, Lauren. It's not being evasive. You are. What do you want me to say? Everyone wants me to say something that's going to make them more comfortable with
my past or something, and I just have nothing that I can say. I've got my views now. We can talk about that. And
no, it's not. Do you think I'm trying to make myself more comfortable?
Like, I feel like there's always this like shame.
Don't lump me in.
There's this shame game. Like you've got this thing in your past, and we have to address it. Like, and like if you don't say exactly what I want you to say about it, then you're being evasive.
So is your answer that you want? Is your answer no? You're not saying anything about it. That's my problem. Is your answer that you don't want to talk about it, or can we talk about it or not?
Oh well, what do you want to ask? Do you have what is your question?
I want you to consent to the conversation.
I consent to the conversation. What is your question, though?
You have done and said things that are regarded by people on the left and some centrists and probably some conservatives, including me, as horrible. I think you have done and said horrible things. My question is...
What are those horrible things? Like, just name one.
The Great Replacement video and thumbnail, specifically.
Okay.
And blocking the rescue, or not blocking, but setting out on a raft with the intention to block a rescue ship.
I don't think... we just have fundamentally different views of these. Like, I don't think that was a rescue ship, and I still don't.
Okay, a ship that could have been used as
any ship can be used as a rescue ship,
including that one.
Including that one, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Listen, there ain't nothing nobody's gonna fucking say to me to get me to go to some other country to start blocking ships. To me, that's like crazy, radical, psycho shit. So especially with the purpose of stopping immigration that's going to change the culture, to me, it's just like, oh, you were radicalized into doing this shit, partly because you were 20, and partly because maybe I don't know why.
I don't agree with.
That's fine. That's
wait.
We don't have to agree on what happened. No. Here's my question. Lots of people think those are terrible things to have done and said, and I think so too. My question is, do you think that?
No, because I have a very different perception of it than you.
Okay. Okay, the Great Replacement thumbnail was some white people, little images of people, and then a ton of black ones in like France. Is that accurate? That was part of the thumbnail.
I can vaguely remember it.
So it looks like white people getting edged out by a bunch of like darkies, right?
Sure, yeah. So, probably not the best thumbnail to use. I can agree with that. But like when you guys talk about these things, it's like this is the most horrific thing on the planet. I'm like, probably like
it's something I would never fucking. It's something I would never do in a million fucking years, is use a thumbnail like that. When I see that, I'm like, oh, this person is either catering to white supremacists, and then based on the comments of some of your viewers, you do have a lot of white supremacist followers, or people who I would consider white supremacists. They might call themselves nationalists.
I certainly don't think I do right now. I don't think. Maybe some, but I'm not a white supremacist.
Okay.
You don't have to believe me. Like, I don't care. I
don't care. I don't care if you're a white supremacist. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm not. This is not a purity test. It's more like a, what is your fucking narrative about this test? It's not even a test. I'm just, is your answer
is it a test or is it not a test?
It's not a test. My question, it's a question. And if you get it wrong, your channel gets deleted.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Here's the question. Do you think those things, are you saying they just didn't happen? Okay, let's just say the thumbnail, because that's an objective thing that we both think happened. I think the thumbnail is tied to whatever ideology also made you do the boat thing.
I think I used a clickbait thumbnail, and then if you watch the video, it's not as bad as people think it is.
That sounds like dog whistling.
That's fine. You can
when
think
you
it's
say
dog
things
whistling,
like that.
But if you don't want to believe that people use clickbait,
I'm not saying I don't use clickbait, but I'm not talking about what you are internally thinking or feeling or believing. I'm talking about externally. What is your answer to this? Is your answer, people just still don't get me and they never have? Or is your answer, yeah, those things were kind of terrible, but I didn't mean them in the way they're being taken, and I see that that was like immoral of me to have done
I
that.
genuinely think it's impossible to have a good faith conversation about this in the current environment because no one will take everyone is going to take what I say differently, including
I
you.
have reduced this to literally a multiple choice question with 2 choices to make this easy for you, and I will accept either one. I just want to know what your answer is. I'm not going to argue with your answer. I'm literally just asking you, do you think people are stupid in misinterpreting what you said because they're too sensitive?
You're not even talking about something I said. You're talking about a thumbnail. Like, I think you just want me to admit that I've done a bad thing in my life so you can tell me to go to therapy like you do in all your...
You are welcome to tell me that you stand by it and you don't think it was a bad thing.
But no,
my problem is that you never answer this question. I just want you to pick one.
Because it's not a yes or no answer. Everyone wants a yes or no answer when the answer is like, that's like asking someone about their childhood. Like, do you think you were a horrible, evil teenager, this, that, and the other? And it's like, well, actually, that was like a growing experience. And
I could ask you about a moment.
Different perspective, but like,
I can ask you about a moment in your childhood, and you can decide whether or not you think that was a good thing you did, not a good thing, or fine. Is the third answer that it's too complicated?
It's too complicated. It's genuinely too complicated. I'll give you. Yeah.
Okay.
There's too much involved on every single level for me. I don't think there's anyone on the internet, maybe in real life, but on the internet that I can have conversations about this with where it won't be so tainted by
I think you could talk about it with me.
Okay, well maybe we're just not there yet, but no, I think the conversation
you're
I think
guarded.
The well is too poisoned on this stuff. It's far too poisoned.
I think my well is crystal clear. I don't think it's poisoned.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't give you a yes or no answer to these questions.
That's fine. You can refuse to answer, or you can say that your answer is that it's just too complicated.
It's just too complicated.
Okay.
This is one of the... I like getting out of my circle and talking to people who disagree with me. I like talking to progressives because they throw me out of my zone, and I spent a lot of time the last 5-6 years, however long I've been in politics, sticking to talking to a lot of like my side, and that can distort your view sometimes. But yeah, it is.
I mean, I'm happy to share whatever perspective I can if you want, but I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not trying to tell you how you should talk or what you should believe.
Well,
I'm trying to...
Well, no, what I'm trying to get at is like you trying to explain your, like, I won't compliment my girlfriend if that's real. And me being like, that is, or like your perception of compliments and me just being like, what the hell are you talking about, right? I think that a lot of the progressive ideology and mindset, they are just unwilling. And yeah, of course I do consider like they're probably watching this and thinking about this. They're unwilling to accept some of the human complexities of people. Everyone just assumes, like anything I say, everyone assumes, okay, you've evolved and you're better at expressing yourself and talking about it. That's just a mask. Now you're just better at hiding your true intentions of white supremacy, blah, 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 which is not the case. But
I think it would convince people. I think it would convince people more if you've evolved. Evolved means better.
No, they see evolved as becoming left wing, and they see evolved as rejecting and disavowing everything you've done in your past as horrible evil nonsense. That's the only way to get redemption.
I think you can be. I think you can be I think you can be anti-immigration or anti-illegal immigration without being racist.
I agree, and that's what I am. But a lot of people don't, right? A lot of people don't believe that.
But I think that thumbnail was racist.
That's fine. You can think that. That wasn't the intention. But like, I can.
I don't think. I don't think it was the intention either.
Okay.
I believe you.
I appreciate that.
And I'm not trying to condemn you for it. I'm just saying that's what I think. I'm not saying like, oh, well, everybody's done racist things. I just think that when you were doing things that saying things that I think are racist, you had a huge platform to do them with. So I'm not trying to.
Can you see how this is like always the conversation that I get in though, and like how I
yeah, but I think that's your fault.
Okay, fine. That's fine.
I think you could just slam the door shut on
No,
us
there
so
isn't,
quickly.
because I have a nuanced view on it. So there's no slamming a door without a yes or no answer, which actually like just disappoints everyone. Like my audience are going to be like, why didn't you just say, shut up and don't talk about it? And
it doesn't come across as nuanced. It comes across as evasive.
Right, exactly. Everyone's just going to perceive it as evasive.
I think you are being evasive.
Because everyone wants a yes or no answer. They want a full disavowal or a full embracing of it. And that's just not.
I don't even think you need to do that. I think there's tons of ways you could shut down the conversation about this with a definitive statement. I think the problem is that it's not definitive.
Right. Everyone wants a definitive statement. Maybe I'm still considering and working through things, that I don't have.
That's a great answer.
I don't have a
Literally,
definitive statement for people.
I think that would shut it down too. If you just said like, yeah, I've grown up. I was 20, but now I'm 20. How old are you? 26?
Yeah.
You could just be like, I'm 26. It's only been 5 years or 6 years. I'm still thinking. I don't have an answer.
Right.
Because you could just say I don't know.
But that's like even worse to a lot of progressives. They'll look at that and be like, "Oh, okay, so you're still considering these evil ideas. So you're still like
just say yes, I'm still considering evil ideas. What do you want from me? I don't know." Honestly, I think you saying I don't know is the most satisfying answer that you've given.
Okay,
that I've heard.
I appreciate that because I don't know. Yeah, there's like an aspect too. People take it as evasive and defensive, but there's a general kind of mood, definitely within right-wing circles, of wow, when we talk to the left, if we want to find common ground with them, we have to partake in a ritual of self-flagellation. Like, to find common ground, there has to be a ritual of self-flagellation always. And to an extent, that happens the other way around, right? Like, the why I left the left has to be this ritual of self-flagellation in order to join the right. And I don't think anyone enjoys or necessarily should be put through a ritual of self-flagellation. There has to, I think there can be, here's my ideas, here's what I believe now. People evolve over time, but I don't like when I feel like something's a self-flagellation ritual.
Clearly that's what was being asked of you at the Fanatic panel. That's why I was telling you not to answer his questions, because I think he was putting you, and still intends to put you through a ritual of self-flagellation.
Right.
And it's part of why I took a blood oath to never go on another one of his panels.
Mm-hmm. How did that go? I didn't listen to all of the rest of it.
It was terrible. I said a bunch of really smart things and nobody gave a shit. And then
you can't have conversations with 6 people. It's not possible.
You can't have conversations with Fanatic.
True.
Honestly, if he hadn't been there, I think we would have had a fine conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. But that's not what I'm doing.
Well, sometimes like how people perceive situations is obviously this is something I've learned. Sometimes how people perceive things is more important than what you intend.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned, actually. Like, ooh, people are perceiving me in a way that's not what I'm trying to communicate. Here's what I'm trying to communicate.
Okay, you want to talk about the bill, or you have to go now? What time is it?
I probably do have to go. I need to wrap up Super Chats, and then I've got some real life stuff to work on. But never boring talking to you, that's for sure. And I respect, the space you make to have a conversation that isn't screaming and yelling like a lot of progressives I talk to. So.
I'm one of the good ones.
Well, was there any last things that you wanted to add? other than a nice old awkward silence?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, we will talk again on a panel, I'm sure. You have a good one.
You too.
Oh. Those conversations are something else. Just gonna decompress from that. I know I said, let me check your super chats. All right, chat. We'll check in with you, what you're saying. Lauren is a much better person than me. Okay, I'll take it. Wait, I'm not supposed to take compliments, though. You selfish individual. Slaps McGee. He's one of the good progressives, Lauren. I always go through, I'm going through a bit of a brain trip. I need a shower. All right, okay. So like on this channel with these live streams, I'm gonna talk to anyone. We're gonna have lots of weird conversations. We're gonna talk to right wingers, left wingers. We're gonna talk to whatever Mr. Girl is. I can't necessarily discern what his politics are. So this is gonna be every 6 p.m. on Thursday nights. We'll do a bit of the news to start and then a conversation. So if you liked that conversation, let me know in the Discord. If you hated it, let me know in the Discord and tell me who you want on next. But geez. How was your therapy session, Lauren? Yeah, I think I think I'm gonna have to go to therapy for my therapy session. No, definitely. I can't. It's like genuinely 50% like Andy Kaufman. But maybe he is genuine, as I told him. I don't know. Let me see if I can check super chats though. Oh. Counterpoints. Good job. Lots of fun. All right, you radical centrist here. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Wow, what a rake over the coals. Yeah, please interview Lindsay Shepherd. That would actually be a good conversation. I really try to get out of my hug box. Okay, here's something that I want to talk about. I'm working on a huge video right now, and I've been thinking a lot about it. Like, a lot of people are confused. Like, Lauren, why do you enjoy conversations with progressives or people that just like rake you over the coals, disagree with everything you think about? Like, at some points they feel like they don't even want to understand you, and I'd almost prefer someone who is like openly and honestly just opposed to me to, unfortunately, a lot of the people that I've met in politics that are like, we're buddy because we have the same politics, but you know, behind the scenes, I'll backstab you as soon as I get the chance. Like, I almost feel safer with someone who is like just openly confrontational, disagrees with me, and I've to an extent automatically got like my walls up of, ooh, what does this person want with me? Then when I was certainly younger in politics, having this assumption that everyone who agreed with me politically was a good actor, was a good faith actor because they had the same politics as me, which is just simply not the case, sadly. So that's a bit of my reasoning for hanging out with progressives, always also just to get out of the circle jerk content. And I genuinely do try to understand them. That's the thing. Like, I really do want to try to understand them. That's the only way that we're going to get through. Clef the Misfit says, I don't think that dude was acting, but he's just a sociopath. Looked him up, and apparently he used to beat his ex-wife and was kicked out of the house at 16, claiming his mom wanted to sleep with him. I don't know any of that lore, so I can't deny or confirm. Blue Collars said, oh, that's interview. Good job, lots of fun. Do you still keep in touch with Pettibone? It's been a minute since we talked, but I did definitely congratulate her on the baby, which is incredible. You look like you need a hot tub, Lauren, says Julian. Thunderstorm says, no shame in defending our homelands. Don't care what the ship was. I don't give a damn. Nice work, Lauren. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, it's just the idea of like, oh my gosh, you're on a boat with a flare gun shooting at immigrants. Obviously, none of that happened, but my opposition to NGOs illegally trafficking people will always, maybe I will one day change that opinion, but it hasn't changed yet. And it probably won't, based on, certainly data from places like Australia, based on the fact that I agree with immigration laws. I don't think people should be able to illegally immigrate for various reasons, including terrorism, the fact that we have social systems that can only bear so many people. Like, there are lots of good reasons for this, and people can pretend they're absolutely mortified and horrified by my position on that. But the truth is, it's the mainstream position in 99% of the world, just not liberal college campuses or Twitch. Can you imagine him on parent-teacher night? Is he pouting? This is Summer Breeze. Elvin says, Lauren's trust issues during this stream through the roof. Absolutely. Ishin TF. He is not acting. He is a sociopath, incapable of understanding why others would want to elevate others through feelings. Denizen says, impressive beard for someone without any huevos. I think that means eggs. Look at me. Speaking Spanish. Summer Breeze says, we prefer to be addressed as creepy senior men. I think this is when we were discussing men complimenting women that are older. Joshua LeBlanc, something is off with this dude. Charles Brooksbank, I have some contentions with Mr.Girl. May I share? I'll have to check back on the chat if you're still here. Summer Breeze, he really thinks he has a special relationship with her and she is denying it. That's a stalker. Crusader General says this demon needs to be offed. Wow, chat. We're really going through the roof today with the super chats. Clef the Misfit. Lauren, you waste too much time talking to leftists. This dude, along with all the others, are being bad faith actors, mentally ill or both. Lauren, you're having a convo that makes no sense. All right, chat. Clearly, some of you felt this conversation didn't make sense. That's okay. That's going to be some of the conversations on this channel. Oh, shall we do a palate cleanser? Who would you want me to speak to next? Give me some ideas. I'll be checking the chat. Give me a palate cleanser here. This has stalker vibe to it. AM says, doesn't believe in straight or gay. Why does he think everyone is bi like him? Sapanta says, premature sexual experiences are not healthy, although far too common. That's generally my position on the issue too. All right, we're almost through these chats. Be Not Silent says, bro, I am a white supremacist. You're not a Jew. That's an intro. Okay. Charles Brooksbank says, am I able to join the conversation? Joey Joe, I hope Faith is doing good. I miss her. Love your streams, Lauren. Keep up the good work. Can't wait for the documentary. Thank you, Joey. Eclipse Boston Terriers, Canada. Keep up the great work. I have the perfect mascot for you when you're ready. Archeon, as a trucker, I can say that the elite always disrespect those who keep the country running and functioning. Very true. You covered your... Oh, this is... I think I read a lot of these. Okay, I read a lot of those earlier ones. I'll try to scroll up and get the ones... Wow, I've just had a bunch. Do you think his girlfriend is tied up in the basement? Are you into... You guys really did not like this guy. I have trouble with those conversations. I think Mr. Girl is definitely weird. I can't tell if he's acting or not, but his Trancel culture video was a solid video, and I think he provides for definitely interesting content that warps your mind a bit. Are you into crypto? Plus, would you ever have a discussion with Anita Sarkeesian? I would love to have a conversation with Anita Sarkeesian. I would love to have a conversation with Zoe Quinn and these people that were kind of involved in like the 2016 Gamergate start of it all. That would be my dream. If someone watching this knows like Zoe Quinn or Anita Sarkeesian, tell them I would love to talk to them. Like just chill, not confrontational or anything. Like I don't think I've ever seen any content of them just talking in a relaxed environment with someone that's like a conservative. I think that would be a fascinating conversation. I wish to concentrate that guy in a camp, says Edelweiss. Okay. Am I going to get banned from YouTube for reading this? Oh, jeez. Okay, talk to Dave Smith next so you can finally understand who he is. Dave Smith. All right, I've added that to the list of potential Thursday night stream guests. Jack Daw. I need you to keep talking to leftists. I'm certainly not going to. There you go. Taking one for the team here. Thank you, Joe Carlson. Amoral Pancake. I always want to call you Pancake. On the European thing, I thought you were going down the Candace Owens path. I'm not a particular fan for people who white knight for others, no matter the skin tone. I don't know what that's in reference to. I may have missed what that's in reference to. I'm sorry, my friend. Good opportunity to denounce Molyneux. I don't do denouncements. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Wait, no, I shouldn't be saying sorry for not wanting to say sorry. No, I don't like the whole denouncing thing. Partially for the reason that Mr.Girl talks about, right? I think it comes entirely from a place of social and public pressure and rarely from what people actually feel. Like when you see a celebrity come out and do an apology video or denounce someone, you can bet your bottom dollar there's a 99% chance they're doing it because, you know, their agent told them they had to. There's just nothing, you can't tell what is a genuine, you know, denouncing or not. And that's why I don't just, like, if I were to denounce something and like go outside and say this is like awful and evil and I denounce that, you can be pretty sure that it's a real denounceal, because I won't just throw around denouncements because people are asking for them. I won't. If I could probably have done that. I probably could have done a whole video on like why I left the right, why I hate everyone and I'm turning into like a left-wing activist or whatever. Because that's the only way you can join the, like, be approved of by the left. You can never, like, their idea of de-radicalizing someone, and it is a problem because there are genuine radicals on both the left and the right wing, and it's bad. We don't want radicals. We don't want people who think the solution to concerns with illegal migration is committing mass murder. We don't want that. We don't want people who, you know, want to create horrible authoritarian regimes. But unfortunately, a lot of the organizations that exist for de-radicalizing people believe de-radicalizing means you change all of your views and suddenly become a left-wing progressive. It's absolute madness. Like, that's not how human beings work. If someone is genuinely like de-radicalized, you're probably going to get someone who was maybe like an eco-terrorist that was like, we need to blow up pipelines to stop, you know, these big oil and gas companies or whatever. And then they get de-radicalized and they're like, oh, I'm going to work to change I'm going to work to change, you know, policy around the environment. They're probably not going to stop being an environmentalist. They're probably not going to stop caring about these things that were so radically important to them. So when people view de-radicalization as someone completely changing their political views or like denouncing every single concern they ever had, I think that's how you lead to situations where no one actually ends up being de-radicalized. No one, because they don't want to, you know, they don't want to be forced to not care about questions that they care about anymore, whether those be questions of immigration or you know, progressive issues, any sort of issues. Oh, okay. I think I've hit all the super chats, I think. Y'all let me know if I missed something. Thoughts on James Mason? I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. Russell Brand. I don't know if Russell Brand would come onto my little itty bitty live stream here on YouTube, but that would be cool. I'd like that. I just realized, like only a few months ago, that he's doing great content. Convoy streamers. Are the convoys still happening? I know there's protests going on every once in a while, but I'm pretty sure most of the convoys have ended. Mr. Meadowker next. Oh, man. Talk to Sargon. It's been a while since I've spoken to Sargon. That would be an interesting catch-up. I'm getting all these ideas from you, okay? Got a few James Masons in here. I don't know who that is, so we'll do a bit of research. I got a reply to Adam and Sitch. You should talk to Biden. All right, if someone could DM Biden for me, someone has his direct line, I'll go call up his people and get Biden on the show. Oh, James Mason has been dead a while now. Great actor. Okay, I don't know if I can resurrect the dead. Maybe we can do a ceremony and blaspheme to get James Mason on the show. Lindsay Shepherd and Owen Benjamin. Okay, I can probably get Lindsay Shepherd. I could probably get Lindsay Shepherd to come on next week. Okay, a lot of people are going to call it a dodge, but I don't think I can handle one more conversation about, oh, Lauren, your great replacement video, blah, blah, blah. So I'm probably going to push Fnatic back and ask that we talk about something else, since I can't handle it. We do need a palate cleanser. When I start lighting sage on stream, you can tell my brain is like, oh gosh, am I going to be able to make it through? Conversations take a lot from you, okay? Oh, wow. Edelwise, $50. Thank you, man. That's amazing. You are very wise. Now take this little sum of currency, go forth, and save the world. I don't know if I can save the world, but I can do my best. I can try. I appreciate that. I should have this documentary out very shortly, and I love doing... I do the live streams. It's a new thing, obviously. I'm learning to love it. I'm enjoying engaging with you guys. I enjoy doing my videos, but my heart is really with the documentaries. Whenever I say on a live stream that something's like too complicated to talk about, this is why I like doing documentaries. You can get a full picture. Way too much political talk it's summed up to like, yes, you agree with this, no, you disagree with this, and you're dodging if you don't have one or the other. Like you're dodging, you're being slimy. You have to fully disavow or fully agree, and that is so unproductive. So that's why documentaries are really where my heart is at. Interview Martinez perspective. Lauren, you are so profoundly based. You have nothing to apologize for. I like your tenacity and courage in the face of canceled culture. Thumbs up. Thanks, mate. What issues matter most to you apart from immigration? You know, I was thinking about this the other day. And the three issues that got me into politics initially, the first one was feminism. Because I had such a wonderful father. I'd say I almost have reverse daddy issues. Where, like, I had such a great dad that when I went into the real world, I didn't expect there to be like a whole lot of bad men out there. I was like surprised. I was like, oh wow, where did you come from? Like all the men in my life are really, really wonderful. So like when I met men that were like nasty or did something bad to me, I was like, oh, that was a bit of a shock. So I kind of went into the world with like a reverse feminist perspective where they view like all men as inherently evil. And I went in like viewing all men as inherently good. My view as, you know, matched out a bit to just be, you know, there are good and bad people, right? But definitely feminism and seeing men referred to as all evil, horrible rapists, that bothered me a lot growing up because I had such good men in my circle when I was growing up, friends, family. And then energy policy was really important to me because I did not grow up wealthy, and carbon tax was a big issue in Canada at the time. And I literally had moments where I was filling up my tank with like change from under my floor mat. So that really bothered me, energy policy. And then the last one was privilege and immigration. So being told by my teachers that you have privilege, and it's like white people specifically that have privilege, that bothered me growing up because I grew up in Vancouver where most of the wealthy people I knew were Asian, not white. And I was like, how can you guys like interpret the world like this? So I had a pretty, you know, normal reason for getting into politics. And a lot of those issues I've just expanded my interest in. Culture war stuff for sure. More so based around like the family and day to day. You should have Donovan Warland on, says Archeon. Pimp Poppy says, get Mr. Meadowker on. He has cancer. And be the best Make-A-Wish program. Been watching Meadowker for years. I haven't watched any of his recent stuff, but I remember watching his videos like certainly back in like 2016 and oh. Okay. The acquitted January 6th people. Oh, that was wild, hey? Let me bring that up. Tim Pool was having a little bit of a back and forth, shall we say, with Anna Kasparian over the January 6th people who got, what was it? Okay. I'll bring this up on screen, actually. Okay, just give me a minute here. I gotta... Uh-oh. So I'm trying to bring this, what I'm talking about, up on screen for y'all. Y'all, look at me. I spent 2 weeks in America, and I'm talking like an American. How could I? Okay. The winning Capitol riot defense. Blame the cops. Government defense contractor becomes the first defendant acquitted of all charges after arguing that officers opened door to Rotunda and let them in. So someone has actually been acquitted for pointing to the officers opening the door when so many people have denied this. They've rejected it. They were like, no, officers didn't open the door. This is some wacky ass conspiracy. Well, apparently not to the courts. And here's Tim Pool makes dumbest January 6th argument yet from Anna Kasparian. I assume that he was discussing, or she was discussing, the defense of the cops let us in. So they've been having a bit of a back and forth on Twitter. I actually like Anna Kasparian. She's one of the few people that I see that's really in it with the progressive left. Like, she is deeply embedded in that sphere, right? But you'll see her have these moments where she breaks from them and says, nope, you're wrong about this. She did it the other day when she was talking about policy around crime. And I'm going to find the tweet for you. It was like releasing criminals. Okay, here we go. I found it. Of course, I found it by searching the term that I tweeted. So I'm saying I can fix her. Hassan says, Americans are so brain broken about crime and automatically assume that lenient sentencing in our draconian and inhuman criminal justice system means that you support the crime and the criminal rather than having a restorative, rehabilitative approach centering justice. And then Anna responds, we've seen the quote-unquote rehabilitative approach play out in California. If that's what you think works, we're in a lot of trouble. Based. Absolutely based of Anna Kasparian, I tell you right now. Look at just the lefty reactions to this. Heartbreaking. Best person you know just made a terrible point. Or maybe she is just making a good point. Just because she disagrees with you. Like, on one policy. Okay. That's not rehabilitative. Look at a country like Norway that gets far better results from much more humane treatment of criminals. Well, you've also got a different culture and population you're dealing with in Norway. I hate it more than anything when people bring up Norway or like Sweden as their main example for comparing to our culture, as if it's comparable. I'm not going to get into it. Great, now people are going to call that a dog whistle or something. It's not, but it's just a very different population with very different problems. Anyways, Anna, I think we can save her. I think there's a chance for Anna. I think she's frustrated. I've seen her like go off at Cenk before, where she's like, you're just being, on Rittenhouse too. She was wrong on Rittenhouse for so long, and then towards the end, she was basically like, Cenk, just stop it. Like, just stop it. We have to accept the truth here. So she's, she's got a little bit of a, her mind's open. Her mind's open to different ideas than within her circle, and she's willing to criticize, all right? We respect her for that here, chat. For some reason, I really liked this one, said Tarn. You are the one person that was like, I liked this live stream, Laura, and everyone else is like, what shrooms did you give me? What wacky journey did we just go on, Lauren? Take me home, please. This was a wild ride. Can you interview Gothics? Gothics does stuff for that, rightly? I can't remember what the channel is, but yeah, I know who Gothics is. I put that on the list, all right? Bring her on. Couldn't be worse. If Queen Anna wanted to come on and chat with me, I'd be ecstatic. Lauren, you're much hotter. Listen, we're not. Complimenting is evil and inherently selfish. We don't do compliments in this chat anymore. Good conversation once you decide to engage. Savannah Hernandez. Oh, she's lovely. We've met in person before, but I've never talked to her. No, we have. I was on Slightly Offensive with her. She's doing good work now. See, I love it. I love it when people get on the ground. Like, get out of your houses. We spend way too much time on the internet listening to people who don't leave their homes tell us what the real world is like. And they've just never even been outside, and they want to tell you all the problems, all the way to fix it and everything. And no. I love when people get boots on the ground and then talk about issues. So I really respect what Savannah's doing now. She's all over the place. I swear I saw her at the border, or it just had her logo on it. She was out, on the Texan border. She was interviewing the people at the transgender national swimming contest. People who lost in the competition, family members. She's really on the ground. It's good stuff. Clef and Misfit could really use some Lauren/Eric July content. All right, I've got way too many people here. I'm just gonna start a spam email for right wingers to come and chat with me. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap up. This was a trippy situation, trippy stream. We got into some weird stuff, but next stream, I think we'll do a longer beginning section of the stream where I just talk a bit about the news, and then I'll have a bit of a palate cleanser guest, and then we'll go back to the challenging guests that are going to make me think, going to make you think, maybe make us frustrated and angry sometimes. That's okay. Life is solved, and situations are solved in the tension, not in total agreement. So, I've got all your guests. I appreciate you all being here, hanging out. Make sure to sub, have that little bell rung. Be here 6 p.m. Thursdays, okay? I'm watching you. Tracked all your IP addresses. I know where you all are. I'm going to come to your house and knock on your door and make sure you're watching this stream, or else. All right? Not jokes in Minecraft. Don't ban me. Loves ya. I'll see you all next time.